beat Michigan earlier today on Fox. They are now 8-0 in conference play, 11-0 overall. Northwestern won earlier today as well. They're now 6-2, 8-3 overall. And be sure to tune in to the Big Ten Championship game presented by Discover December 2nd on Fox. Well, Nebraska has won the toss. They've elected to defer. So Drew Brown will kick off. And Brendan Polk is back deep for the Nittany Lions. We're all set. And this will be a short kick. Taken at the 17-yard line. Koa Farmer able to return it out to just about the 26, a 10-yard return. And coach, when Penn State has the ball, what are we watching for?
Well, for Trace McSorley, we're just calling this be complex. Simply help out the O-line, help out the wideouts, help out Saquon Barkley get off to a great start, maybe reduce their scheme a little bit for that developing offensive line. And then defensively for Nebraska, very simple. If we show it, tackle. Chris Webber and everybody else on defense has to tackle. They were in position last week against Minnesota, gave up 400 yards rushing.
Saquon Barkley to the right of Trace McSorley on first down. McSorley to pass, and he comes near side. It is incomplete, intended for number 13, Saheed Blacknall. Trace McSorley. You look at him, he's listed at 6 feet, 195 pounds. With all the quarterbacks that have come through Penn State, you wouldn't think he's the record setter.
Yeah, he's certainly not the most impressive guy physically. Good read there on that initial play. That kind of gimme passing games is stuff that's tough in these conditions.
On second down and 10, McSorley keeps it up the middle. And McSorley takes it across the 35-yard line, tackled by Marcus Newby. A 9-yard run.
Great job getting vertical here by McSorley. He's reading the edge up top as to whether to give or pull that ball and then go north and make it a 3rd and short. Great initial decision there in the run game by Trace.
Trace McSorley was the team's leading rusher last week. 13 carries for 44 yards and a touchdown in the victory over Rutgers. That's how crazy things have gone with Saquon Barkley. They'll give it to Barkley this time, and Barkley, he breaks one down the sideline. There goes Barkley. Saquon Barkley to the house, touchdown. 65 yards. That didn't take very long.
Yeah, great start for Penn State and their run game. Watch Williams fit on the run here. He misses that, and the rest is history for Saquon. A great job there by Juwan Johnson, finishing off Lamar Jackson to lead the way for Saquon. He hurt us in pregame.
The extra point by Tyler Davis is good. That's 63 consecutive extra points converted by Tyler Davis. For Saquon Barkley, that's his 12th rushing touchdown of the season.
Yeah, he just eclipsed last week's rushing yards in that one run. So again, just doing the dirty work up front. This is your job as an offensive play caller. Get your guy one-on-one. And just a great job by Saquon, using a little bit of speed, a little bit of power, and then a great job again by 84 there, Juwan Johnson, finishing the deal on the perimeter. That's a key block, a touchdown maker for the wideout.
Now 37 career rushing touchdowns for Saquon Barkley, trailing Lydell Mitchell for the most career rushing touchdowns in Penn State history, just past Curtis Enis. We mentioned it. He's not a senior, but this is essentially his senior day, and he just had a senior-type moment here. A big rushing touchdown, 65 yards to electrify the crowd here at Beaver Stadium. Tyler Davis kicking on to J.D. Spielman, a dangerous return man for the Cornhuskers. And let's see what this Nebraska team is made of. Spielman from the 10. Spielman, a good return out across the 30, up to the 32-yard line, a 22-yard return. What are we watching for when the Cornhuskers have the ball?
Well, for Nebraska, it's going to be all about Tanner Lee. They've had their own issues up front and in the run game. They've got to have the appearance of balance, but get guys like J.D. Spielman that we just saw involved, get their wideouts matched up on the corners as we flip it over of Penn State. Campbell, Haley, just rock solid, as you talked about in the open. Their secondary is very, very impressive.
Tanner Lee in the shotgun. People were wondering, would he be able to start? Was in concussion protocol. He is starting, and on first down, hands off to Mikael Wilbon, who gets tackled by Jason Kabinda. Yeah, a 1-yard run. Yeah, on cue there,
the senior Jason Kabinda from New Jersey, a phenomenal player. Got a tremendous ovation from this Beaver Stadium crowd.
Tanner Lee, again, the question mark, would he be okay to play? We spoke with the coaching staff on Wednesday. They all thought he was on target to play. As a matter of fact, Mike Riley said, I asked him, are you okay? He was going through, he was cleared. He said, I'm playing.
Yeah, it was no doubt from his standpoint. 8-man front there by Penn State. They're going to force Tanner Lee to make him beat him. There's your 8 guys in the box, and you talk about that single high safety.
On second down, Lee throws low, intended for DeMornay Pearson L. So 3rd and 9 coming up here for Nebraska.
You've seen both quarterbacks miss that throw early. That's one thing that you just kind of count on making. A hitch route, a stop route against off coverage, that's usually a gimme. Just enough precipitation, enough wetness on the field right now, that's going to be a challenge all day long.
And it looks like the rain has lessened a little bit since, I guess, pregame warm-ups. 3rd and 9 here for the Huskers. 1-4 in the last 5 games. Lee drops back. Good protection. Throws over the middle. Dangerous pass. Jason Kabinda nearly picked it off.
Yeah, Kabinda, just a veteran, was baiting Tanner Lee and then triggered on it. He's obviously knows what he missed out on. He had clear sailing. 3-man rush, 8-man rush. Tanner Lee was looking for a guy open. Sees Hop right there, and Kabinda triggers. Oh, big early stop, keeps the crowd into it.
Caleb Lightbourne on to punt. DeAndre Tompkins is back at his own 25. A high punt. And this may have hit a Penn State player. The Nebraska recover. Waiting for the signal.
This is the type of break they need.
Marquel Dismuke, he comes away with it, and they have it.
Ball was touched by the receiving team, recovered by the kicking team, first down.
Ron Snodgrass, our referee. Like you said, Coach, this is the break they need.
Yeah, disastrous start defensively. Saquon on the long touchdown. It definitely hits the right foot of McPherson. And just big-time hustle. That's the kind of stuff that gets you charged on the road. Everybody's against you. The world's against Mike Riley right now, or so it feels. Great field flipper for Nebraska.
A huge turn of events right there for the Cornhuskers, taking over at the 34 of Penn State. And a flag here on first down, a false start, and that's just what you don't want to have happen.
Exactly.
False start.
Kabinda was showing pressure.
Offense, number 77, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Showing pressure. Knievel just jumped. Telling stats right there of why these two teams are where they're at right now.
Nebraska 4-6 overall. Penn State 8-2. The pass is complete to Tyler Hoppus, the tight end. One of the favorite targets of Tanner Lee. 25 receptions on the year. That's good for 6 yards.
It'll be interesting if they come back. Watch J.D. Spielman here late. Does a little leverage move, and he is wide open. Tanner Lee did not see how that came to be. It'll be interesting if the coaches upstairs saw it, and they'll come back to it.
2nd down and 9 here for Nebraska. Mikael Wilbon in the backfield. Hand off to Wilbon. Wilbon trying to get outside. Can't slip the tackle by Marcus Allen. One of the captains. That's a good tackle.
Marcus Allen's a stud, and there's the difference right now, just athletically in the secondary between these two teams. The same deal, really, as Saquon Barkley's touchdown, and there's the safety at the line of scrimmage, meeting Wilbon basically at the line of scrimmage and getting him on the ground.
6'2", 205-pound senior. Just showed off his strength right there.
Bright future for that young man at the next level, no question.
3rd and 7. Trying to capitalize on a break.
Be interesting if they run to set up a more manageable 4th down. They're kind of in a dead zone.
J.D. Spielman, a favorite target on 3rd down. They go to Pearson L, and Pearson L will get the 1st down. An 8-yard completion on 3rd and 7.
Yeah, really good scheme here. Watch him on, just called a pivot route. He starts in, works back out. You've got the tight end clearing the way. Good job by Tennelly. Nice little stiff arm there on Christian Campbell, getting the 1st down.
Able to move the chains. 1st and 10 from the 23 of Penn State. Pressure coming, high throw, hauled in by Stanley Morgan. Another 1st down, that's a 12-yard pickup. Stanley Morgan now 25 straight games with a catch.
Yeah, this is a big-time play here by Tennelly. Watch the pressure come untouched off the top side. He gets drilled and puts it right on the money to Morgan.
Sharif Miller applied the pressure, and Stanley Morgan made the catch. It's going to be 1st and 10 from the 11 of the Nittany Lions. Lee taking the shot to the end zone, incomplete, looking for J.D. Spielman. And Spielman wasn't turned around quite yet.
Yeah, expect kind of anything today, with Nebraska in the red zone. You look at their red zone percentage of touchdowns. Penn State first, Nebraska last in the Big Ten. This could be double pass area, trick play area, 4-down territory. Again, this is, Nebraska's kind of an all or nothing phase here with Mike Brown.
So this is one of those moments where you're thinking you got the break, you might go 4 downs instead of taking 3.
Absolutely. With the firepower on the other sideline, no question.
Wilbon dancing around, and he'll get back to the line of scrimmage. Jason Cabinda's there, so 3rd and 10 is coming up.
Really good scheme there by defensive coordinator Brent Pry. They brought one linebacker off the top side, move the front, make Wilbon stutter step, and the posse just kind of corralled him. He's done a great job. He's been with James Franklin his entire career as a head coach. And he's got a nice beard.
He does. And that's necessary on a day like today. It keeps you warm down there on the field. 3rd and 10. They converted already on 3rd down. Tanner Lee out of the pocket. There's a flag. Throws the end zone. Nearly picked off again.
Yeah, Apke would have got about 100 yards with that one if he would have picked it.
Let's wait to see what this flag is for.
Holding, offense, number 67. Penalties declined, 4th down.
That's against Gerald Foster, the left guard.
67 right here, Gerald Foster, the left guard. Looked like he had Morgan on the shallow. Watch him come into your picture left. No question on the takedown.
Number 34.
Two guys could have picked that one. Parker Cothran on the pass rush, making him work. From the law firm of Cothran and Cothran, the defensive tackles.
It's going to be a 27-yard field goal attempt. And the field goal attempt by Drew Brown is good. So they do take advantage there. 7-3. Penn State leading Nebraska. When we come back, Saquon Barkley's already got one. A stadium that can seat over 106,000 fans. It's 7-3. Penn State leading Nebraska. Nebraska getting 3 points off the turnover. Drew Brown to kick off to Brandon Polk once again.
And this is another area, if you're Nebraska, the bunts, the reverses in the special teams game as we go, could be some stuff up there as well.
Keeping it short, and a fair catch is made at the 18-yard line. Time for a game break. Let's go back to LA and check in with Greg Wolf.
All right, Justin, thanks. Number 9, Ohio State with a win in either of their next 2 games, going to the Big Ten Championship. JT Barrett hooks up with Benjamin Victor, 100th passing touchdown of Barrett's career. They lead Illinois 28-0. First quarter, it's looking like they have the East wrapped up. Justin, Mark, back to you.
All right, Greg, thank you very much. Back here, not in State College. We're in University Park. That's how big Penn State's campus is. They have their own city.
Wow. That's good knowledge.
On first down, the handoff is to Saquon Barkley. And this time, Nebraska does a much better job controlling it.
And Saquon does a good job of just pressing it and hitting it no matter what's there. Just bouncing around too much the last 3 games for the liking of the statisticians in the stands and on the Twitterverse for the coaches. But they've done a good job so far schematically.
That one went for 5 yards. Saquon Barkley came into this game 899 rushing yards on the season, 517 receiving yards. And a flag comes in.
False start. Offense, number 13, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Saheed Blacknall, wide receiver, gets called for the false start.
Yeah, Bob Diaco, the defense coordinator from Nebraska, showing one look and then stemming to another. A lot of times those perimeter guys, they react to that, and it's tough. That's what James Franklin is barking about. That wasn't a rule, that was a natural football move, whatever that is.
So now it's 2nd down and 10. It essentially negates that 5-yard run by Saquon Barkley on first down.
Some more movement from Nebraska's defense.
A handoff to Barkley. And Barkley gets gang tackled at the line of scrimmage. Marcus Newby, the first one there.
Nebraska fans do not recognize that if they watch last week's games. Great fits, great run defense. Everybody did their job. So much of what Penn State does is based on the defense. So right here, McSorley's looking out here for a read, both in the run game and the pass game. Nebraska is sound at the front and at the first level and the second level. 3rd and all.
3rd and 10 now. Pressure coming. McSorley backing up, throws. Incomplete. They're looking for a flag. No flag is thrown, intended for the tight end, Mike Gesicki. There is a flag, though, in the backfield by the quarterback, McSorley.
Holding. Offense, number 74. Penalties declined. 4th down.
So a really good job that time defensively by Nebraska.
Yeah, again, they brought pressure, ended up with man coverage. 74 here. Gonzalez, no doubt about it, on the hold. Trace McSorley just never able to set his feet, so he throws the fadeaway, trying to find Gesicki on the flag route.
Blake Gillikin to punt. DeMornay Pearson L back at his own 40. And this is a shank. That's going to be Nebraska ball with great field position. They're going to be inside the 40. They're going to get it at the 36-yard line of Penn State.
Yeah, 2 huge breaks so far in the kicking game. Now Nebraska, you got to seize this momentum. The crowd is hushed. Big time opportunity here again for Nebraska offensively. This looks like my driver. Shank. It's usually my reaction too.
I didn't know you played golf with a mouth guard.
Hey, my ball goes, it can hit a tree, come back, and hit me. Safety first, man.
Divino Zigbo now in the backfield here on this series for the Huskers.
Got Spielman again in the slot up top. Looks like he's going to be matched up on Apke.
Tanner Lee throws over the middle. There he is. J.D. Spielman.
Great job this time. Tanner Lee on a little rhythm action play fake. Spielman not even a great route on the drag, but beats Apke across his face. And he's hopefully going to be okay and get up from it. Really good timing. Great spot in front of Marcus Allen and to the side of Troy Apke.
J.D. Spielman being checked out by the training staff on the sideline. He has been huge for the offense for Nebraska. Tanner Lee completes the pass to Stanley Morgan on the slant, takes it down to the 1. 18-yard completion, 1st and goal from the 1 coming up.
Again, man coverage now from Penn State. Watch the hard sell run. This is a run, you can see it. And then he finds Morgan as the safety. Marcus Allen voids that area too. He fills it up right behind it. Great spot. And Morgan almost finishes the deal. I guarantee you this is 4-down territory if you're Mike Riley. You don't want to get to 4th down, but if you do, you're going for it.
Number 46, Bo Wilson, who's usually 56, has checked in. They're in motion. The handoff to the end zone. Touchdown, Devine Ozigbo. Nebraska takes advantage of the shanked punts, and they take the lead here in Happy Valley.
Happy Valley not so happy right here. A motion man by the O-lineman. Every O-lineman's dream. Helps get it started. Fullback McNitt to lead the way. Ozigbo, great job controlling the ball. Big answer by Nebraska, taking advantage of the opportunity, seizing the opportunity.
Drew Brown on for the extra point. 10-7. There is a flag.
Yeah, it's going to be roughing the kicker or running into the kicker. Looked like Christian Campbell, I believe, for Penn State.
Running into the kicker. Defense number 1. Penalties decline. Timeout.
Well, we wondered how Nebraska would come out motivated. They gave up a 65-yard run to Saquon Barkley. They've come back after a turnover. They got 3 after a shank punt. The 6 seasons as a head coach. So gracious with us on the phone this week.
Yeah, impressive guy. How he's handled the situation all year long.
Drew Brown again, directional, high and short to the 22-yard line. And once again, it's called Farmer. And Farmer will take it out to the 34-yard line. We're in the first quarter. We've got 6:10 to go. Has really helped bring this program back to prominence. In his 7 years as a head coach, 3 of them at Vanderbilt, bowl eligible in all 7 seasons. He's got Saquon Barkley out there in the backfield once again with Trace McSorley. His team trailing right now, though, by 3 against Nebraska. On first down, McSorley to pass. Dumps it off to Barkley. Barkley forced out of bounds at the 39-yard line. Time now for Winning Duo, sponsored by Volkswagen. Why settle for an SUV when you can have an SUV-W? And look at the career numbers and ranks for McSorley and Barkley.
Yeah, they've been playing football a long time here at Penn State, and these are 2 of the best.
Hand off to Barkley. Will stop and go, and this time he gets hit by Marcus Newby, who's had a busy first quarter, 4 tackles already.
And there's an example right there of a negative run that has been so common in the last 4 games, where he presses it inside. Nebraska does a great job setting it here, and he's forced to bounce it, and he can't get the edge. So great defensive scheme there by Bob Diaco and the Huskers.
3rd and 5 here for Penn State. Nebraska looking to force a 3 and out again. McSorley, dangerous with his legs as well, throws, and he completes the pass It is a first down, completed to Deshaun Hamilton. And Hamilton is the all-time receptions leader at Penn State, and he's the guy that McSorley trusts on third down.
He said that exact same thing to us yesterday, right? Who am I looking for on third down? Deshaun Hamilton on cue. Just as you said, Nebraska did a great job of making Trace McSorley reset his feet. He did a good job keeping his eyes downfield and converting on third down.
So 1st and 10 now from the 46-yard line. McSorley over the middle. Completes the pass. Breaking a tackle is Juwan Johnson. Johnson down the sideline and forced out of bounds finally at the 12-yard line. Aaron Williams finally forcing him out. 43-yard completion.
Yeah, just another look at the run-pass option. He's going to fill that void left by that defender. Exactly the same thing Tanner Lee did to them down near the goal line. And Juwan Johnson does the rest. He is a big old boy, 6'4", 226. Smart move by Aaron Williams there, not getting a horse collar, but still getting Johnson under control.
And you mentioned at the beginning for Nebraska, they need to tackle. Missed tackles there against Juwan Johnson allow for that big play. Saquon Barkley breaking it outside. Barkley to the end zone. They're conferring, waiting for
the students are
touchdown. 11-yard touchdown run for Saquon Barkley. That just tied Lydell Mitchell for the most rushing touchdowns in a career at Penn State.
It's initially balled up. Nebraska again at the point of attack. They just lose contain. He bounces outside and does the rest. You'd love to see him control the ball a little bit more there, right? Michigan learned about that earlier today, reaching the ball. Juwan Johnson has been the MVP.
Oh, was a foot out of bounds.
Maybe so, yep. Juwan Johnson did a great job there. Saquon Barkley, you'd like to see him stay on the ground and run through Juwan Johnson's inside shoulder, and it's a walk-in touchdown or a run-in.
Obviously, this play is under review, but the issue is going to be, was the right foot out of bounds as he's about to take off right there. It looks like some white came up.
Wow. There were about 30,000 students that were trying to help him out, but it definitely looks like his foot is out. So where his foot is out would put the ball inside the one, right, where the ball was. Should be a first down and goal, I would imagine.
They're saying, I believe I can fly here because he went airborne.
James Franklin is telling him, I wouldn't have done that. I would have scored right there. What I would have done is cut it back.
Let's bring in Mike Pereira from LA and get his thoughts on this play. Mike?
You know, I think back of like you have the fields with the rubber pellets where the rubber pellets fly up. This time you have the chalk sideline.
Yeah, white grass. Yeah, what is it? Grass.
Actually comes up, huh? So it looks like it's really close until you see that chalk fly up. I think they have to reverse this and put the ball down at the, you know, the 1 yard line, 1.5 yard line. So to me, that's enough there. That's enough that's clear and obvious, indisputable to reverse to put them short.
Runner stepped on the sideline. The ball be placed at the 1 yard line. First and goal. Please reset the game clock to 3 minutes, 40 seconds. 3-4-0. Thank you.
Mike, thank you. You were right. That's what we all thought. The fans here don't like it.
There's 100,000 people that apparently can't see the Jumbotron.
But you know what was great was we had the reaction of Saquon standing next to his coach James Franklin, and you could see Saquon going, "Oh
yeah,
man!" Like he knew it was a problem.
I have a feeling he's going to get another chance right here.
You're going to go out on a hunch right now and think that, huh? Okay. So he is one shy of Lydell Mitchell for the all-time career rushing touchdown record. They give it. No, it's kept by McSorley. And McSorley, he's going to be down just shy of the goal line.
This is that same play they ran earlier the other direction. Barkley comes across of McSorley. McSorley's looking out here, and he needs to hit it right inside. And he tries to bounce it. You got to trust that A gap if you're running that as the quarterback.
Second and goal. It was Dedrick Young with the tackle.
And he's rebuckling his chin strap there too.
It's Barkley. And Barkley gets in. Touchdown. Okay, so now he's tied for the all-time record.
Lydell, you're mine. Yeah, I think that's one right there where Joe Moorhead takes off the read. He just said, hey, man, give it to our guy. Get this crowd back into it, right into our student section. We got to get low up front against this Nebraska front. Sorry, we're having a little issue there with the telestrator. Saquon wanted to keep his eyes up. Great job keeping the ball secure. You can't, well, maybe right there is where the ball's in. I say you can't really see. They're going to confirm it and take a look at it.
Under further review.
The fans not happy to hear that this play is under further review.
Yeah, there's such a wad of humanity right there. I don't think you can ever see the ball. He never goes down. And I think it's right there as he's taking on Chris Webber. Chris Webber and Freedom Akinmoladun. Is that as close as it could be there, play-by-play man? That's a tough one.
Akinmoladun.
Okay.
It's close. But it was impressive. I'm glad you tried it first.
Yeah, if those guys finish the play, that's a little bit different story, but I think we're going to have this one stand.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Tom Fiedler is our replay official, and as we thought, I mean, as you said, the sea of humanity, was that your quote? Yeah, the sea of humanity, yeah. It's too hard to look for something and have something definitive there.
Yeah.
Tyler Davis on for the extra point. And Penn State is back on top by 4. Saquon Barkley has both touchdowns in the game for Penn State so far, and he's tied another record here for the Nittany Lions. Who has tied the career rushing record set by Lionel Mitchell back from 1969 to 71. So that record has stood for quite a while until now. Tyler Davis will kick off to Jalen Bradley, who's back deep for Nebraska. Bradley from the 2. Bradley has a hole, and Jalen Bradley able to cut it back across the 30, and he'll take it up to the 33-yard line. Tomorrow, it's a great slate of games on Fox as the Redskins take on the Saints, or you'll see two of the NFL surprise teams collide when the Rams battle the Vikings or other regional action. It all starts at 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Check local listings for the game in your area. All right, I want to ask you about the surprise team, the Rams and Jared Goff. Because you played against Goff, you coached against him when he was at Cal. Your take on what he's done this year with Sean McVay.
Not surprised. Sean McVay's done a tremendous job of playing to his strengths, and he is a tough dude. I think that's point number 1, bullet point number 1 to be a great quarterback. He's got to be a tough dude. He took a beating at Cal.
Devino Zigbo hit in the backfield, is going to lose 2 yards. Parker Cothran, part of the law firm of Cothran and Cothran, is the first one to make contacts. That's Parker Cothran and Curtis Cothran. They don't spell the names the same way. It's an E-N and an A-N. But they have become like brothers.
Yeah, this team up the middle, the law firm, and then Brandon Smith and Kabinda, and then on the back end with Apke and Allen, just unbelievable, right up the gut for this Penn State defense.
Second down and 12. Lee, looked like he got hit as he threw to Tyler Hoppus. The tight end gets 4 yards back. Jason Kabinda and Grant Haley, 2 of the seniors combined for the tackle.
Yeah, that looked like a defensive line meeting at the quarterback right as he threw the ball. That's not good if you're a fan of Tanner Lee or his parents. But did a great job standing there and finishing the throw, setting up at least a manageable 3rd down situation.
3rd and 8.
rushed 3. Looks like they're going to do the same thing.
Lee sits in the pocket and hits his receiver. J.D. Spielman, who's back in. Let's see where they mark him down with forward progress. Going to be just shy of that first down marker. Nick Scott was there to bring him down.
Penn State's strategy here on third down is to rush 3 and drop 8. They're just bluffing of who they're bringing. Does a great job. Tanner Lee does stepping up and finding Spielman in the pocket. Just short. Looks like they're going to go for it. Oh, they just changed their mind.
With 35 seconds to go here in this first quarter. They've got the punter, Caleb Lightbourne, on. DeAndre Tompkins is back deep. And a flag is thrown.
It's going to be a delay game.
Delay game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
So that's one right here you don't really care about. It's not a time where you use a timeout to save that 5 yards. They just were a little bit late. Mike Riley was probably thinking, oh, should I? And then elected to punt.
Right.
No blood really right here with that 5-yard penalty.
A good punt. Tompkins, fair catch made at the 15-yard line. A 48-yard punt. Time for a game break. Let's go back to L.A. Here's Greg Wolf.
All right, Justin, thanks. Over on Fox, 17th-ranked Michigan State trying to bounce back from that 48-3 loss to Ohio State in a steady diet of L.J. Scott early. As I'm on the board first. 2-yard touchdown. They lead 7-0 end of the first quarter. Justin, Mark, back to you.
All right, Greg, thank you very much. This first quarter is about to come to a close. 15 seconds to go here. Penn State leading by 4 over Nebraska. Saquon Barkley has both touchdowns for the Nittany Lions, ranked number 10 in the country.
Changing the play from the sideline here, Penn State.
Just gets tackled by Joshua Kalu. Otherwise, he was taking that one to the house.
Wow, Nebraska brought the corner off the edge. The cornerback brought it from the boundary. Saquon Barkley does a great job of just creasing it. You'll see him come off the edge, and he finds the A-gap that Nebraska doesn't account for. And I think he's between moves right there. He puts on 3 moves and ends up tackling himself as Josh Kalu slows him down.
That one went for 30 yards for Saquon Barkley, and Barkley 111 yards in the first quarter for the Nittany Lions. Also 2 touchdowns as Penn State leads 14-10 at the end of 1.
These are the people who get to decide the kind of world they're going to build. These are the voices.
14-10 over Nebraska. And Saquon Barkley just went over 1,000 yards for the 3rd straight season. He is the 6th Big Ten player with 1,000 rushing yards in each of his first 3 years. And he gets a breather here as Miles Sanders is in at tailback.
He's got his toes to the sideline. He wants back in.
McSorley will throw it for Sanders. It's an incomplete forward pass.
Sanders has to cover that ball. You never want to leave that in the officials' hands. If that goes to replay, cover that ball.
Who won the rush yard battle in the first quarter?
Well, like we were talking about in the open, Saquon Barkley is going to rush 7 times and average 16 yards per carry. Is that what we said? I think that's what we said. Very impressive start by Saquon and Joe Moorhead's offense. Nebraska per rush, 0.4. That's not good.
But they trail by just 4. McSorley, design quarterback run. McSorley makes a couple of guys miss, and he's going to come up about a half-yard shy that first down marker. Muhammad Berry with the tackle.
Second, big run for McSorley inside. That's a second, about 9-yard gain he's had. Good job protecting himself as he's tackled by Berry. This is one right here where you can take your chances to take a shot, go for it on fourth down. Joe Moorhead, former head coach at Fordham, he loves this weather, I guarantee you.
Barkley is back in at tailback on 3rd and inches. They give it to him, and Barkley gets the first down, but a flag does come in.
Holding. Offense, number 66. 10-yard penalty.
That's the center, Connor McGovern.
Exactly. Was trying to cut off on the backside on Stoltenberg, I believe 44. Probably didn't have a great impact on the play, but that'll push him back and make it 3rd and 6. He can't believe it, of course. No O-lineman's ever helped. He's lobbying his case right there.
So now you go from 3rd and inches now to 3rd and 10.
3rd and 10.
And
I'm sorry. What did I say? 5 yards. I was hoping it was 5 yards.
Changes the play call for sure.
Showing man coverage by Nebraska. You see everybody pressed across the board, free safety deep.
Pressure coming up the middle. McSorley throws over the middle and completes the pass to Saeed Blacknall for the first down. 22 yards against Chris Jones.
Well, if you're Bob Diaco, the defensive coordinator, you got to take some chances. They're bringing pressure inside, but this is not what they want. Blacknall just has way too much space, does everything he wants. And a big-time conversion here for Penn State after they backed themselves up with the penalty.
First down, giving it to Barkley. And Barkley up to the 28-yard line.
I also like right here what Joe Moorhead's doing, the offensive coordinator for Penn State. That was a predetermined give. You can tell by Trace McSorley's body language. Get him going. Get the ball in Saquon's hands. Don't make it a read.
Another flag with a handoff to Barkley.
That was a quick flag. That almost
That
had like
was.
hands to the face or something on the defense. That was too quick for an offensive hold.
Holding. Defense, number 44. 10-yard penalty.
Mick
First
Stoltenberg.
Interesting call here. 44 right there inside the nose, Stoltenberg. This is something very common by defenses. You can see how he's trying. That's definitely the right call. As he's trying to open up a hole for Dedrick Young, the second there, number 5, and trying to keep that O-lineman McGovern off of his linebacker. McGovern held him. He just figured it was fair that he could do the same thing.
1st and 10 for Penn State. McSorley
showing man coverage again by Nebraska.
McSorley will run with it. This is why his players like him. See the toughness right there on that run?
Yeah, and again, smart of kind of finding the seam there. Looked like he had Blacknall wide open for a touchdown. Nebraska came out of their man coverage, went to zone, and Blacknall was right up the seam. Watch this guy defeat it. He'll go right behind him. There's nobody else back there. Trace McSorley might have been going, what? The linebacker's trying to come from under to help out, but there's nobody over the top. But again, he made it right by creating a positive game.
2nd down and 2. Tommy Stevens, the backup quarterback, is in as a tailback with Saquon Barkley. Running the option. It's kept by McSorley into the end zone for the touchdown. 10th rushing touchdown of the year for Trace McSorley. Takes it in from 9.
Doesn't do the full celebration, just zone read. So Barkley's the first part of it. Trace McSorley's the second. The pitch key is there. This is great football. Unfortunately, for Nebraska fans, that's beating them at their own game. That's triple option 101 just from the shotgun. Harken back to Dr. Tom's days.
That's old school Nebraska football right there. As Tyler Davis on for another extra point. 65 consecutive extra points converted by Tyler Davis. Trace McSorley doing it with his legs. Running the option. I'll keep it myself, thank you very much. Saquon Barkley, you can't get all the touchdowns. I need one. 21-10. Nittany Lions on top of the Cornhuskers here in Happy Valley. 10. And that gives Penn State the 21-10 lead here in the second quarter. 21st consecutive game with at least 20 points. Tied for the 3rd longest in Big Ten history. And it's our longest for Penn State, going back to 93 to 95. Tyler Davis kicking off to Jalen Bradley from the goal line. Bradley, a good return out to the 26-yard line. Time for a game break. Let's check back in with Greg.
All right, Justin, thanks. Number 4, Oklahoma, coming off back-to-back wins over ranked teams, taking on 1 and 9 Kansas. Here's your Heisman frontrunner. Baker Mayfield takes a shot, still able to get it away to Rodney Anderson. 34-yard touchdown. Sooners lead 14-3 late second quarter. Justin, Mark, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Greg. Baker Mayfield. He is the front runner right now for the Heisman.
That feels like a stats game for him, just like this feels like a stats game for Saquon Barkley.
Tanner Lee on first down, incomplete, looking for J.D. Spielman. Koa Farmer was there on the coverage. And I tell you what, 21-10 right now. I don't know about you, Coach, but I kind of get the feeling this is a big series here for Nebraska.
Absolutely. Big deal right here. They've got to get something going offensively. They're not stopping anything at this point. Defensively, Penn State's got the rhythm. They got to create some offense, and Mike Riley knows that.
Mikhail Wilbon in the backfield. The handoff to Wilbon. Wilbon lowers that shoulder, gets across the 30.
That's the dangerous part for their offense right now, is they can't operate like this running the football against really anybody to this point, and certainly Penn State's defense. Wilbon gets what he can get, but sets up third and long.
You're not used to seeing numbers like this by Nebraska.
Yeah, and tonight's worse. 152-6 right now in rush yards.
I mean, they did have 4 yards on that carry, so that brought the total up to 6. It's 3rd and 6 here.
4-man rush.
Lee, low throw for Spielman.
Some frustrated wideouts downfield. Stanley Morgan is frustrated. He was open. Pearsonell actually came clean. And his initial throw here, he had, just watch the footing. He trips himself. As a quarterback, you want basically a 2x4 to keep your feet apart, so that kind of thing doesn't happen when you're in that passing position.
Caleb Lightbourne on to punt to DeAndre Tompkins. 3rd 3 and out of the game for the Cornhuskers, and a shank here by Lightbourne. But it takes a pretty good Nebraska roll, so it won't be as bad of a shank as we saw from Penn State earlier. Penn State will get the ball back starting at the 33. What kind of fireworks? Phenomenal.
4-star. Yeah, I think that's the only time where I've wanted to eat more than you. This guy's Johnny Fitness, but he can eat. Chocolate chip cookie dough, off the charts.
Peanut butter swirl. It's not ice cream weather, but if somebody wants to bring us some, we won't say no. The pass out to Barkley in the open field. There he goes again. And Saquon Barkley tackled again by Joshua Kalu. Made a touchdown-saving tackle before, maybe made one here. A 24-yard pickup.
Well, this is the guy we saw. Just simple swing right out of the back. This is the guy we saw in those first 7 games. Get your athlete the ball in space. Great job getting some perimeter blocks. And he is, again, an eyelash away from another home run.
Saquon Barkley, another record now. Most receptions by a running back in a single season. Breaking the mark set by Larry Johnson, and this pass is incomplete for Deshaun Hamilton.
Yeah, just had a little stop route up top. Looked like Barry maybe have gotten a deflection on that.
I mean, it is kind of crazy when you think about Deshaun Hamilton. He sets records. Yeah. Saquon Barkley, Trace McSorley, Mike Gesicki. I mean, everywhere you look, they're record setters.
This is an unbelievably talented group. Again, the majority of these guys are 4-year players. Came in with James Franklin. Part of those guys from the previous staff. Another in-pass option.
McSorley over the middle, completes to Deshaun Hamilton. Over 200 career receptions. This one goes for 12 yards.
Again, just that simple slant route. He's going to read the perimeter. There's a run play being blocked up front. You can see the O-lineman finishing up top. It's a run action by those guys. And this is what Trace McSorley has done such a good job of. Saquon Barkley has been unselfish. in his number of carries and the demand on him, and they maintained their scoring during the Saquon slump as a runner.
Miles Sanders is in. He goes in motion. The pass is to the tight end, Gesicki, and Gesicki has a first down, but a late flag in the backfield. It's a 13-yard completion. Let's wait to see what this flag is for.
Yeah, it might be sorely getting hit late. The timing of that by the referee.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense. 96.
That's Carlos Davis.
Automatic first down.
And Justin, you talked about it. We've already seen Hamilton, Tompkins, Johnson, McSorley, Barkley. The guy we haven't talked about is Gesicki, also a record setter, tight end, and he gets in on the act. Don't forget about me, a little 12-yard game. Big time player, and here's the late shot. Yeah, no question about it. When the defensive lineman recoils to hit him when he knows the ball's gone, those referees are going to call that every time.
It's 25 straight games with a catch for Gesicki. McSorley with time to the end zone, goes up top to Gesicki. Touchdown! Why not? Sixth touchdown of the year for Mike Gesicki, the senior out of New Jersey.
We joked about this with Joe Moorhead, the offensive coordinator, yesterday, and Trace McSorley. He gets through his progression. This is him. And watch Trace McSorley. He works through one receiver, two receivers, three receivers, and his quote-unquote checkdown is the greatest tight end in passing, at least receiving tight end history here at Penn State. The 6'6" Mike Gesicki on Chris Webber with the end zone.
Tyler Davis, automatic for the extra point. Mike Gesicki, he's breaking records. Another touchdown. He now has the most career reception yards for a tight end in Penn State history, and they've had some great tight ends come through here as well.
For some, Sunday is about the Redskins versus Drew Brees and the Saints. For others, it's about the Rams against the Vikings. The NFL on Fox begins Sunday at 1 Eastern. Check your local listings.
26 straight games, which is the longest streak in 20 years in the Big Ten. And he trails only Baker Mayfield for the longest current streak in FBS. No return here possible. Well, tonight at 8 Eastern on Fox, it's one of the biggest rivalries in all of college football as Cal takes on Heisman candidate Bryce Love and number 22 Stanford in the big game. Tonight on Fox, or stream it live on Fox Sports Go. Well, we talk about Bryce Love, Mr. Mayfield. How about your Heisman hopefuls, Mr. Helfrich?
Yeah, I think Baker Mayfield is a cut above everybody right now. We've seen almost all these guys in person. Khalil Tate and Jonathan Taylor, I think these two guys right here, as we drew that yellow line, those are two guys, they're like the equivalent of a preseason top 25. If those guys, wouldn't have been ranked coming into it and just on their body of work, Khalil Tate has been unbelievable.
Tanner Lee got rid of it, incomplete for Stanley Morgan. Lee was under pressure yet again.
Saquon Barkley can probably punch his ticket to New York, but he's probably had that book since about week 4. And again today, he's trying to pad those stats and kind of make the last 3 games forgotten in everybody's mind.
Jalen Bradley is in at tailback here for Nebraska. There's Barkley on the sideline. The guy who had SA already carved in, as you said in the open.
He needs to go get in James Franklin's pocket right now. Hey, coach, we got to finish this first half.
Incomplete, overthrown. Grant Haley couldn't come up with a pick. Tyler Hoppus, the intended receiver. The pressure applied by Troy Apke.
Yeah, Apke, the safety. Again, Brent Pry doing a great job defensively. Watch him come off the edge. Does a great job not falling for the play fake, doing his job. As a defender right there, you're taught to run to the quarterback's outside hip so you can't get outflanked. Great job and great reaction by Apke.
Nebraska's 1 for 5 on 3rd downs. All of them have been for 6 or more yards to go. Mikael Wilbon comes in on 3rd and 10.
Penn State's dropped 8 a ton here. Another 3rd and long. Dropping 8 again.
Tanner Lee taking the shot over the middle, incomplete again for J.D. Spielman. That's his target on third down. Spielman has over 330 yards on the season on third down, but they could not connect.
And look who's covering him. Apke again, 28. This is a guy that was just in the backfield pressuring Tanner Lee. He takes over the coverage from Grant Haley, gets in his hip pocket, and Tanner Lee just misses. That's one of those times where you can be a little delicate down the middle. There was nobody else back there, and give your guy a chance.
Caleb Blackmore to punt again. Pressure coming, and he just gets it off. DeAndre Tompkins will let this one bounce, and it takes a Penn State bounce as it will be downed at the 34-yard line. 9 minutes to go after a 40-yard punt. Penn State will take over at the 34. It's been a record-setting performance for many individuals here in the first half for Penn State.
On the outside.
Wow.
King's Hawaiian Foods.
It's an 18-point lead for the Nittany Lions here with 9 minutes to go in the second quarter. And the last three possessions have all resulted in a touchdown for Penn State. And by the way, this is now their best starting field position of the game at the 35-yard line. And Saquon Barkley is in there. Barkley, 9 carries, 117 yards. 10 carries now, as he takes it up to the 43-yard line and gets 8.
Nebraska's gonna, never be confused with the 85 Bears, but Saquon Barkley is running better, and they're doing a better job of recognizing fronts up front by the O-line, the tight ends in the run schemes.
Saquon Barkley averaging 12.5 yards per carry. McSorley. Look at the spin move, dumping it off to Barkley, and Barkley just reaching out to get that first down. That's really good awareness by Saquon Barkley.
It was great awareness by Saquon Barkley and great awareness and reaction by Trace McSorley. He was waiting. They had a deep scissors route that was happening over here, and you'll see him step up. He's trying to see this happen. He works the pocket. He works up great protection. Little leakage there late, but a great job of knowing where your outlet is and get a first down.
McSorley escapes the pressure, throws down the field to the sideline to Juwan Johnson. And Johnson, they're going to say he was out of bounds, could not come down with a foot in.
Chaz Wright got beat up front. You can see Davis in the backfield. Great fit over Stilley's outstretched hands. Ooh, that's a close one. You might take a look at that. Juwan Johnson done a great job of perimeter blocking. He's a 6'4" guy. He used all 6'4" there to stretch out and make a catch. Maybe they're not going to take a look at it.
He took a hit. And Barkley
making sure their guy's okay. Penn State fans collectively hold their breath. Great job by Trace McSorley. A 6-man pressure. They're bringing guys off both sides. He realizes it. Again, finds his guy, and Nebraska gets everybody. All hands on deck. Kalu comes to finish him off. Get him out of bounds.
Kyron Williams is the one who hit Saquon Barkley.
That looks like
26
a Big
on
10,
26.
That looks like a Big Ten tailback right there. A little chalk, a little dirt, mud, water.
Natural grass. Miles Sanders comes in. McSorley comes near sideline. And this time it is a catch for Juwan Johnson.
Juwan Johnson again has done so many good things. Trace McSorley here got just a stop route, basically run to 8 to 10 yards depending on your scheme, and stop. They had off coverage everywhere. He could have gone really anywhere with that ball. He works the boundary. It's the easiest throw.
Juwan Johnson is a specimen.
He's done a great job. He did a great job on that first touchdown by Saquon Barkley, blocking. Probably should have had another touchdown block by him when Saquon stepped out of bounds. And they finally getting him the ball a few times. Great job with that one run after catch.
McSorley to Gesicki. Gesicki. And that's a good tackle by Marcus Newby. Marcus Newby, 6'1", 235, taking on the 6'6", 250 guy. Just going for his legs.
Yeah, good job here by Trace McSorley as Gesicki comes across the field. He throws a catchable pass. Then look at Deshaun Hamilton right there, 5. Does a nice job to get Gesicki around the horn. And then Marcus Newby, who's been in and out all year long for Nebraska, gets him on the ground. And right now, that feels like a victory to just get the guy on the ground for Nebraska's defense.
Saquon Barkley's back in. McSorley trying to buy some time. He's going to run out of bounds as opposed to taking a hit. Alex Davis chasing him out with Carlos Davis. It's going to be a loss of 2.
Another one of those run-pass options where Trace McSorley is kind of predetermined going to the top, so he puts it in Saquon's belly, and then Nebraska drops out of it. So the play action back here, and then defenders just underneath of Juwan Johnson, so he elects not to throw that slant route. Probably a good decision.
Second down, 12 coming up. Play clock at 5. McSorley with protection. Incomplete, but there's the flag. Looking for Juwan Johnson, and he was shoved out of bounds by Joshua Kalu.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Kalu, this is one where he was going to get beat, so he just took one for the team.
Defense, number 46, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
He knew. He gave him the international my bad signal there by pointing to his chest. Little double move, little out and up. He just says, hey, let's fight another day, give them 15 yards. They got the other guy right there that did a nice job was wait, you can see him there in the top of your screen still blocking, is Saquon Barkley blocking the corner coming off the top edge. He is a complete player. So many people love him. Again, this is probably his last day in Beaver Stadium. He can run, he can catch, he can block. Very impressive player.
Tommy Stevens, the backup quarterback, is in. He goes in motion now. They swing it out to Stevens. Stevens, he's got real close to that first down marker. Looks like he's right there. Marcus Newby with a tackle again.
That's a quarterback again, quarterback to quarterback. These guys, I guarantee that's talked about constantly in the meetings. I'm open, man, I'm open. If it's even close, throw it to me out there. Great decision and great timing by Trace. And a good finish by Tommy Stevens.
By the way, Tommy Stevens, it's not like he's this little guy. He's 6'5", 230.
Yeah, he's put together.
We got it.
And impressive in pregame. I was watching him throw. It was windy and rainy. He was spinning it. He must have played outdoors a lot in Indianapolis.
2nd and 1. The pass is tipped. Incomplete. They were looking for Deshaun Hamilton.
So here's another one. I'm betting Trace McSorley wants this one back. I know Saquon Barkley. Watch Saquon Barkley. This is a run-pass option. So you people at home, should he have given it or thrown it? I think Saquon's ahead of whoever it is up next on the record books, whoever he's looking at. Trace McSorley, both those guys know their time is limited here probably if the score goes where it's going, and they're trying to get theirs, you know, in some ways.
3rd and 1 coming up. They give it to Barkley, and Barkley gets into the end zone again. 3rd time today. This time from 8 yards.
Very similar play to that last one, and Trace McSorley left, no doubt. He could have thrown it to Gesicki coming this way. Great decision to hand it off to the guy headed for New York City for the ceremony. Runs through the tackle of Dedrick Young, and a great finish. That might be his last carry in Beaver Stadium history.
39th career rushing touchdown. All alone now. No longer tied with Lydell Mitchell. Saquon Barkley in the rain.
Love up the big guys.
Look at the uniform. That's old school Penn State right there. 3 touchdowns from Saquon Barkley. It's been nothing but touchdowns really for the Nittany Lions as they have 35 points on the board. Jalen Bradley from the 1. And Bradley out to the 25-yard line. Saquon Barkley, we talked about him in the open. First 7 games versus the last 3 games. How it was a tale of almost 2 seasons, and how did he get back on track? And Coach, we knew this would be a game where he could probably get things going, but
yeah, it's been impressive. It doesn't matter who you're playing. Nebraska's played harder. You know, in their defense, they played much harder than they did last week against Minnesota. And you know, Saquon has been special. Trace McSorley has done a nice job as well. And they're getting everybody involved, breaking records across the board, but it has certainly gone through 26.
Devon Ozigbo on the carry, able to fall forward to the 30, gets 5 yards. Second down and 5 coming up. 4:15 to go here in this first half, and for Nebraska, you'd like to see a first down.
Yeah, just all about pride right now. Just a bunch of guys you still want to see them compete. I think they've jumped out how hard they've played on special teams, which is an encouraging sign. But you got to get something going offensively, not just relying on those special teams blunders from earlier.
Ozigbo again got hit at the line, and Ozigbo is able to, second effort, pick up the yard.
Yeah, did a great job getting back to the line of scrimmage there, really. A lot of penetration. I think that was Curtis Cothran. See the senior partner of the Cothran and Cothran group?
Actually, they started together, okay. So there's no senior partner yet.
Split equity?
Yes.
Yeah, Nebraska just looking for a guy to spark it. Got to protect Tanner Lee, give him a chance to throw against what has been a consistent 8-man drop from Penn State. Looks like they're going to align differently, and they're not like how they're lined up, so they're going to take a timeout.
Penn State takes the timeout.
Penn State, they're first.
Third and 4 coming up. We'll take a timeout as well.
I love Thanksgiving because it's the time of the year when the whole family gets together. Oh boy. We're gonna need a bigger turkey.
Ring in the holidays with Buick. It's the Enclave Black Friday event at your Buick dealer. Get 20% below MSRP on all 2017 Enclave premium models. That's over $10,500 on the specially equipped Enclave.
3:15 to go here in this first half. It's all Nittany Lions, really. Nebraska, they scored their 10 points off of miscues, off a turnover and off a shank punt. They turned that into 10 points. Besides that, they've been able to do nothing offensively. 84 total yards here in the first half against one of the best defenses in all of college football, Penn State. It's 3rd and 4 right now. Tanner Lee. Flag is thrown as the pass is incomplete for J.D. Spielman.
And a ton of contact.
And it looks like it's holding.
Holding. Offense. Number 67. Phillies decline. 4th down.
Gerald Foster called for the hold, the left guard.
Yeah, it's the second time he's been called and the second time it's been declined. Wouldn't matter, it's an incomplete pass anyway, but Foster just having a tough time with that movement from Coach Brent Pry's defense.
That was out of the timeout. 4th straight 3 and out. Lightbourne just gets it off again. Fair catch made by Tompkins.
Penn State has been inches away from blocking 2 punts. Watch the pressure this time. 2 guys right in position.
Wow.
You want to put both hands. Man, it looked like his hand was on the ball. Was that Lamont Wade? Looked like he put his left hand right on his foot of Lightbaum. They're smelling blood on that punt team, and they're probably going to punt again. They'll have another chance.
Going out on a limb again.
I'm a risk taker. Saquon's fired up to have another possession.
3:04 to go here in this first half. 337 to 84. That's the difference in total yards. Saquon Barkley is back there in the backfield with Trace McSorley. High snap. Handoff to Barkley. And Barkley will get a couple of yards here. Mohamed Berry was fired up for that tackle.
Yes, he was. Hey, you get 26 on the ground, everybody's excited. Looked like he had a chance there. Trace McSorley could have thrown the bubble up top to Deshaun Hamilton. They had him out leveraged up top, 3-on-2.
McSorley with time again, finds Jawan Johnson down the sideline, and Johnson is out at midfield. Lamar Jackson is there, a 26-yard completion.
Well, Coach Moorhead, the offensive coordinator, is be excited about this. We've got a little post corner down here on the bottom right. Johnson shows his eyes on the post, does a great job ripping his eyes back around to McSorley. Great protection that time by the Penn State front. Moving the chains.
Jawan Johnson had 5 catches for 78 yards last week against Rutgers. He's got 3 for 75 so far tonight.
2 minutes and counting here for Penn State. There's that bubble.
Hamilton with some blockers. And he gets out of bounds. Chris Jones was there to force him out.
Okay.
Coming up, the State Farm Halftime Show with Mike Hill, Robert Smith, and Bruce Feldman. Feldman's in the house.
He's a studio guy, huh?
He's a studio guy. Petros is now a studio guy.
Second down and 1.
Everybody's leaving us. Well, Trace McSorley heard me on that last one. Great job getting the bubble screen to Deshaun Hamilton. His buddy DeAndre Tompkins got beat. They had a big-time game there on the perimeter.
Second down and 1.
Showing man free again by Nebraska.
McSorley tip ball incomplete. Was looking for Gesicki, but there is a flag in the backfield.
Good coverage by Newby.
Personal foul. Illegal helmet contact. Hands to the face. Defense for 91. 15-yard penalty.
Who was that, Justin?
That's Freedom Akinmoladun.
That's why you're the best in business right there. It's a big man. That's hard for a guy to get low enough to not get some high contact. Right here. 91 on the pass rush. Up against Will Fries. And just gets up into his chin. That looked like he was more into his jersey, and just again by being so big, predisposed to getting that call.
First down, McSorley. Dancing, throws high, incomplete for Hamilton.
On the coverage, number 46.
Great scheme here by Penn State. They're trying to split the free safety, and they get a little cross here. Gesicki's into here, there. We're splitting that guy, and he wants this one back. Would find Gesicki. Not real fond of the spacing right there. Those guys need to be more on the hash marks to truly split that free safety.
Second down and 10. Penn State trying to put up 40-plus points in the first half against Nebraska. Pump fake, McSorley. He takes off. And McSorley gets out of bounds, chased out by Mohamed Berry. Alex Davis also there on the pursuit, a 5-yard run. 3rd and 5 coming up with 1:29 to go.
And you can see his speed there. The guy can run a little bit better than anybody gives him credit for. He's not a big guy. I would say 5'11"-ish. You know, of course they list him at 6 foot 195.
Well, I mean, they used to list me at 5'10", so
that's way off. Corners coming over. That means man coverage.
To direct snap to Barkley. And Barkley getting outside gets the first down.
Well, he's feeling it, and right now Joe Moorhead and this Penn State offensive staff are doing a great job. Get everybody up to the top, flash fake it to your quarterback, run one of your standby plays. That's kind of what we talked about in the lead-in, is run your base stuff a bunch of different ways. Sometimes it's been a handoff, sometimes it's been a direct snap, and just a stat that just jumps out to us right now. First downs this quarter, Penn State 15, Nebraska 0.
That's why it's 35-10 right now. McSorley over the middle. Touchdown! DeAndre Tompkins. 15 yards. Oh, Gary, the route is on here in Happy Valley.
Love the scheme again by Penn State. We saw the post corner. This is the corner post. Watch him come out of this. He nods to the corner, comes back inside, and nothing but green grass. Chris Jones in trail technique, and that's too easy for Trace McSorley. He probably gave that a half swing on his little home run celebration.
The extra point is good. Two of the most storied programs in college football history. One time you never would have thought this would be possible. In the first half, 42 points by the Nittany Lions against Nebraska. They lead by 32.
There's no one I'd rather.
42-10 on Senior Day here at Beaver Stadium. And this kick will go out of bounds with 1:19 to go.
Kickoff out of bounds. Kicking team. Ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
I said before that if you're Nebraska, you're hoping for a first down, and you mentioned the stat that jumped out: 15 first downs to 0 in this quarter.
Yeah, right now the other stat, 400 yards to 84, and then that's a great stat right there for this stadium and this program. Outscoring their opponents by 248 points at home.
Tanner Lee, low throw, incomplete by Tyler Hoppus. Could not hang on. Jason Kabinda. Is that a neck roll he's wearing?
That is a neck roll. Oh, that is Matt Millen, yes. Tip of the cap. All the
linebacker linebacker you.
Shane Conlon would have his jersey ripped a little bit even pregame, I think.
You don't see those anymore. I'm so happy about that.
Well, you just saw it.
Well, I know. That's why I'm happy. Pressure coming. Uh-oh. Lee got hit. That's an incomplete pass. Grant Haley coming off the edge. The senior, whose mom went to Penn State.
They're just frenzying him right now in every way, and you can see Haley come untouched. Tanner Lee does his best to not make this a turnover. Looks like one of their front guys are down for Nebraska, which is never good to see. But
it's Brendan Hymas, a true freshman from Austin, Texas. 6'5", 280-pound true freshman. Eighth start tonight, most by true freshman offensive linemen in Nebraska history.
Yeah, that's been part of their issue, right? Is just all these guys with it's on-the-job training for these young guys going against some excellent defenses that they've faced. And Mike Kavanaugh's done a great job managing those guys. They've been in, they've been out, and also at tight end. You know, they've got replaced 3 4-year starters at tight end, and they're very involved in a Mike Riley offense that they just haven't gotten to totally deploy at this point.
Tanner Lee this quarter is 0 for 8. And is it Tanner Lee? Is it the pressure? The weather? Is it all of the above? The second quarter stats are not pretty if you're a Nebraska fan. On 3rd and 10, pressure coming, and Tanner Lee gets sacked and just say the entire Penn State defense.
Yeah, Penn State's just smelling the blood in the water right now. Big sack.
Oh. Timeout taken.
Penn State wants to block a punt, I think.
Who gets credit? Everyone does.
Burger of the NCAA.
1:03 to go here in the first half. A 32-point lead for Penn State. They called the timeout. They want to make Caleb Blackmore punt. The last 2 punts, Penn State's gotten very close to blocking it. They bring the pressure. Blackmore gets this one off. DeAndre Tompkins is going to clear out of the way as this will be downed at the 18-yard line. A 54-yard punt.
Justin, these are 2 of college football's most storied programs, but I think we need to talk about 2 other programs right now. My alma mater, Southern Oregon University, very similar. You probably heard of Harvard and Stanford.
Yes.
Very similar to them. Currently undefeated.
The Harvard, Stanford of Southern Oregon?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. The Harvard of Ashland, Oregon, yes. Currently undefeated, playing in a playoff game, and then also my high school, Marshall High School, Coos Bay, Oregon, undefeated, playing in a playoff game as we speak.
By the way,
big time ball.
Is Coos Bay is your high school's home course? Marshfield golf course, is that Bandon Dunes?
Bandon Dunes is like the fallback.
Oh, okay.
Coos Country Club, baby, Coos Country Club.
Well, congratulations to both your alma maters, the Fighting Helfriches. McSorley taking the shot down the field, and that is nearly picked up by Chris Jones. Saeed Blacknall was the intended receiver. And by the way, you mentioned Harvard. The actual Harvard, the one that's located in Cambridge, Massachusetts, they lost to Yale. And that old rivalry.
I've heard those are decent schools.
Yeah, Harvard, Yale.
That would have been a great play by Chris Jones, and a little payback for them taking a shot here at this point of the game. I know some people would be questioning that, but Penn State's trying to get some numbers and get their guys out of the game, I would imagine, early on in the second half.
The handoff to Barkley. Back in Maladu.
Penn State taking another timeout.
They just don't want to go to halftime yet. We don't want to either. The guys in the studio are just, and they haven't really looked down or looked back since taking the lead at 14-10.
3-man rush by Nebraska.
Barkley, he's got some room again. Saquon Barkley gets tackled again by Joshua Kalu. Joshua Kalu has made 3 of those big tackles. A 24-yard pickup for Barkley, and on his senior day, because he's not a senior, but it's probably his last game, he rips his pants. McSorley out of the pocket. And he'll throw this one away.
Previous play here, just a great scheme again by Penn State, getting Saquon the ball in space. 3rd and 11, no problem. I got that run through to Kalu. That's his 2nd touchdown saving tackle of the night.
Not a bad first half.
That's about the last 2 games combined in the first half tonight. Deshaun Hamilton was running free on that last play.
16 seconds to go. McSorley trying to wind up, throws high, incomplete for Gesicki. And a flag is thrown. Gesicki went down. He was hit by Lamar Jackson.
That should get waved off. It was hand to chest from this angle. We've got a great angle for where he threw that, and he did not. But they'll take a look at it. I think they're going to call this for targeting. The officials are
defenseless receiver.
Yeah, but there was no helmet to helmet, no high contact, in my opinion. We'll see it.
Tom Fiedler, the replay official.
Chest. I think he just mouthed to pick it up, so hopefully,
no foul
good.
To play. The action by the defender has been ruled to be legal.
Good.
3rd down.
They just said pick it up. Pick it up. So good decision there by the officials. No question here by Jackson. Watch the hands. They're to the chest. He's reacting to his hands. And it has to be, again, a forcible contact. That's the ball kind of going lower. Getting out of it. Good job by the officials. Waving that off before they had to wave it off via replay.
8 seconds left.
know what the delay is. They're explaining it to James Franklin.
One of the line judges over speaking with James Franklin. Now they get the go-ahead to go. McSorley buying time, throws to Hamilton. And Hamilton gets tackled, and that will be the end of the half. But what a half it was for the Nittany Lions, putting up 42 points, over 400 yards of total offense. Impressive performance by the Nittany Lions. But right now, let's get you to LA. Here's Mike Hill and the guys for halftime.
Ready to go as we welcome you
back here at Beaver Stadium in University Park, Pennsylvania. As we get set to start the third quarter, it is all Nittany Lions, 42-10 over Nebraska. Justin Kutcher alongside Coach Mark Helfrich. And we came into this game talking about Saquon Barkley, a tale of two seasons.
It was first half season quality. Yeah. No,
he rebounded pretty well.
He's been phenomenal in every phase, as a catcher, as a blocker, certainly as a runner. You take a look here, the opening drive of the game, sheds a tackler, goes the distance. Jawan Johnson, who's been my unsung MVP as a blocker. Here's McSorley giving it to him, running through Dedrick Young's arm tackle, finding Pater, celebrating with Gesicki. And McSorley's been pretty darn good too. The Big Ten passing leader has done a great job managing the run game. There's a little triple option action, finishing off that drive. Here he's working through his progression and then finding the 6'6" Mike Gesicki against the linebacker in the back corner of the end zone and hugging his head coach there in celebration. These are for restricted viewing only right here, these statistics.
If you're a Nebraska fan, look away as our stat comparison sponsored by Farmers Insurance. 439 total yards to 77. 23 first downs for Penn State compared to 4 for Nebraska. And it's the fourth time allowing 40 points in a game since 2007. It's the second time this year that Nebraska has allowed 42 points in a half. They allowed 42 against Oregon in week 2, but in that game, Nebraska fought back and they made a game of it.
Yeah, Penn State's defense just suffocated Nebraska. The 2 non-drives off of the special teams errors. 6 of the 8 drives in the first half, 3 and out.
Tyler Davis will kick off to Jalen Bradley to open up this third quarter. Mikhail Wilbon actually in the end zone will take a knee. And we'll see if Nebraska can get off to a better start here in this third quarter. Tanner Lee, the numbers on him in the first half, 7 of 19 for 72 yards. But the second quarter was not kind to Tanner Lee.
Yeah, 0 for the second quarter, and that's obviously the difference in the game. Just Penn State seizing that second quarter, really taking over in every phase, played much better on special teams, which was the only thing that is keeping this from being really, really ugly.
Mikhail Wilbon will start in the backfield. Mikhail Wilbon started the game for Nebraska. 3 receivers, the bottom of your screen on first down. The handoff is to Wilbon. Let me ask you the question, because we opened the broadcast as far as Nebraska was concerned, talking about the elephant in the room, the coaching situation with head coach Mike Riley, a new athletic director, and Bill Moose. And we talked, how do you get your team motivated? How do you get them to play? What do you do now when you come out of the locker room down by 32 points?
Well, you're just calling on their pride. You're talking to everybody and you're challenging them, getting in everyone's head, asking for their best. Again, every single person in the program knows kind of, as Tanner Lee is pressured and brought down again, everybody knows kind of where it's at. But the one thing that really jumps out, Nebraska has some of the greatest fans in our sport, and they're not here. And that's the thing that for whatever you say about Mike Riley, I like Mike Riley a lot. Again, I like Bill Moose a lot. This is a tough situation. A lot of people say it's already a done deal with Scott Frost. I'm not sure if it's quite to that level yet, but this certainly doesn't help.
A sack by Kevin Gibbons makes it 3rd and 16. Pressure coming again, and the pass is complete to Spielman, and J.D. Spielman gets tripped up nicely by Amani Oruwariye.
Nice, nailed it. Great job shedding the block there. They ran a shallow with Spielman. The other guys were engaged. It's a very common third and a long route to run guys vertically and block, and then run another guy from the opposite side of the field on a shallow route trying to convert, and another 3 and out for Nebraska.
Caleb Lightbourne to punt. DeAndre Tompkins is back at the 27-yard line.
Trying to set up a return this time. They didn't go to block it.
Tompkins on the run makes the catch. And Tompkins across the 40 will be marked down at the 42-yard line. Well, Saquon Barkley had 142 rushing yards in the first half, 66 receiving yards. What does he have in store for the third quarter on his Buick? Proud partner of the NCAA. Saquon Barkley, that was the first quarter. And that was a 65-yard run for his first of 3 touchdowns on the night. And he is back in there to open up this third quarter for the Nittany Lions as they'll start at the 42-yard line. Record-setting night for many Nittany Lions, both season and career. On first down, delayed handoff to Barkley, up the middle. Saquon Barkley to the 49-yard line, gets 7. Chris Webber with the tackle.
Another one of those run-pass options. The delay allows Trace McSorley to see the perimeter and then come back to give it to their star in a great first down game for Saquon. That's gonna reduce his yards per carry though right now.
How much more do you think we see of Saquon Barkley?
I'm surprised they're in. I'm surprised they're in based on how they finished the first half. If you're calling timeouts and doing what James Franklin did in the first half, usually you're going to pull those guys. It surprises me.
Second down and 3. McSorley trying to run, and he gets taken down. Dropped by Alex Davis for a loss of 2.
It's good to see Nebraska still playing hard, getting after the quarterback. Trace McSorley has initially a good pocket, but the twist action, Davis, and also big freedom, Akinmoladun with the pressure.
Penn State's at Maryland next week.
You see that corner come over. Both corners are on the same side here for Nebraska. That means man coverage to the quarterback. That tells him the coverage.
On 3rd and 5, out to Barkley. He'll make the catch at the line of scrimmage. So a 3 and out forced here by the Nebraska defense. Positive.
That's positive, yeah. In an otherwise positive free situation. That's good job for those guys. Continue to compete up front.
Blake Gillikin to punt. DeMornay Pearson-L is back deep. It was Gillikin who had the shank in the first quarter that eventually led to 7 points.
Pearson-L's not done a lot all day to see if he can get going, and doesn't look like he's gonna have a chance.
Not a shank this time. That's a really good punt.
That looked like your sandwich.
Had some backspin on it. It's beautiful. Nick Scott able to down it, a 43-yard punt. They've hit a lot of home runs tonight. They have the Nittany Lions swinging for the fences, leading by 32. Back here in Happy Valley, and they are happy right now, 42-10. Well, really, it's been all or nothing, literally, for Nebraska.
Yeah, the first 2 drives, we had the muffed punt situation, and the shanked punt led to that touchdown and field goal, and absolutely nothing since. See if they can get it going.
On first down, the pass is complete to the tight end, Tyler Hoppus. A 6-yard completion. Jason Kabinda there for the tackle. That's the first completion since the first quarter for Tanner Lee.
And still haven't had a first down, so hopefully they can get something going.
Handoff. Divino Zigbo up the middle. Time now for Carl's Jr. and Hardy's game break back to L.A.
Justin, thanks. Number 8 Notre Dame coming off that loss to Miami, having some trouble with that option attack of Navy, but Brandon Wimbush hooks up with Kevin Stepherson. 9-yard touchdown. First lead of the second half for the Irish. They're on top 24-17, fourth quarter. Justin, Mark, back to you.
All right, thank you very much. It's 42-10 back here in Happy Valley. 3rd and 2.
That's a tough prep for Notre Dame coming off that big loss, humiliating loss, to bounce back against a great scheme from Navy.
Lead a pass on 3rd down. The pass is complete to Wilbon, who's got the first down.
Tanner Lee earned that one. He got rocked by Jason Kabinda. Haven't had a first down since the first quarter. Watch Kabinda come and introduce himself to Tanner Lee as he completes it. Great job turning up and getting the first down. Nice job standing in there by Tanner Lee.
You mentioned toughness before, talking about Jared Goff. You need toughness. Tanner Lee is showing it.
That's the perfect example right there for quarterback. You got to make that throw.
Handoff to J.D. Spielman. And Spielman, he shows his toughness and his athleticism, gets 9. Cam Brown with a tackle.
Spielman's been very impressive. You know, in Nebraska, looking for positive. Spielman's been very impressive, and they're starting to use him more in that James Rogers, Jaquiz Rogers of Mike Riley offenses in the past. A freshman who's developing into a great player for Nebraska.
2nd down and 1. Ozigbo in the backfield. Pressure coming off the edge. Ozigbo up the middle. Forward progress. Looks like he's going to have the first down. He will. That's back-to-back first downs. Don't look now, but they're going crazy.
Both teams have brought corner pressure, just trying to add that extra defender. This time Brent Pry, the defensive coordinator for Penn State, brings Christian Campbell off the top edge to add another number to the box.
First and 10 here for the Cornhuskers. Tanner Lee under pressure, throws deep, has his man Stanley Morgan, and completes it.
Again, great job by Tanner Lee. The twist, they got pressure on him again. Really good timing here, and this is a great play by Stanley Morgan. Christian Campbell on the coverage, gives himself a great target. Being a big guy, showing up right on the seam, stands tall. Needs a bunch more of that to get back in this one.
A 34-yard completion, longest play of the game for this Nebraska Cornhusker team. Takes it down to the 25-yard line of Penn State. Handoff to Ozigbo. Ozigbo gets stood up by Christian Campbell, and Marcus Allen comes over to complete the tackle.
This is what makes these corners special. Watch Christian Campbell right here, number 1. Watch him set the edge. Nebraska has a great scheme called against a field pressure, and Christian Campbell, 6'1", 194 on senior day. You'll see him come in late. They bring the pressure to the right here. Watch him show up, set the edge, shed him, and make the tackle on Ozigbo. That's what NFL people love about long corners. They're tough and can set the edge right there.
2nd down and 9. Hand off to Mikael Wilbon up the middle. Wilbon gets a block. Wilbon to the end zone. Touchdown, Nebraska. We said it. It's all or nothing for the Cornhuskers.
Well, a great answer for Nebraska. Brent Pry, the defensive coordinator for Penn State, not going to be having. There's the Nebraska Go Big Red Nation.
The Go Big Red Nation going crazy here. Tucker Gross going crazy back in California.
Split zone. This is the same place Saquon Barkley scored on many times. Ozigbo presses it, cuts it back. Makes Grant Haley be an arm tackler there at the goal line.
The extra point is good by Andrew Brown. You want something positive? They got something positive on that drive. A couple of first downs. And then Mikael Wilbon down of the game. And on that drive, They went 90 yards. That was more yards on that drive than they had on the other 9 drives of the entire game.
Did a nice job, Tannerly. A couple great toughness completions there. Some receivers making some plays. And then Divine finishing it off. Possible bunt kickoff situation. Surprise onside. Something here to get him back into it.
It is a high, short kick to the 20-yard line. Jan Johnson is the one who made the catch and returned it about 6 yards. So it's been a crazy year for the Nittany Lions. They had that big lead over Ohio State, but then got outscored 21-3 in the fourth quarter. The next week at Michigan State, they lost on a game-winning field goal as time expired. Think about this. Their 2 combined losses by 4 points. The other 8 wins, they've won by a total of 234 points.
Yeah, it's been just domination for these guys this year. And the 2 hiccups, and that in James Franklin's defense there, the late second quarter deal we were talking about. They got to finish these games better. You know, obviously a tough loss to Ohio State. Michigan State beat them. You know, Ohio State came back. Michigan State beat them.
And you know, everyone talks about this Penn State team, 8-2, 5-2, and Big Ten play. And let's say they go, you know, 10-2 on the season, and it's a disappointment.
And as we talked with James Franklin, that means Penn State's back, right?
Correct.
And up here in football crazy Pennsylvania, that's a great problem to be, you know, theoretically 10-2 and disappointed. The Pittsburgh Steelers are disappointed right now, and they rolled the Titans the other night.
And off to Barkley again. And Barkley looks like he's going to be just shy of that first down marker. Ohio State is up big over Illinois. With a win, they would clinch the spot in the Big Ten title game. Penn State needs Ohio State to lose twice in order to go to the Big Ten title game. But you know, when you think
guys watching the game right now, I'm sorry.
When you think about that Penn State season, I think the fans aren't maybe so upset about the Michigan State loss. They're upset about giving up the big lead to Ohio State at Ohio State.
Yeah, you just don't get that many opportunities to beat Ohio State at Ohio State. And
Ball start.
That's
offense,
awesome.
number 5. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
That's Deshaun Hamilton.
She disagreed with the call there. But no, this is a good football team. Very complete. Great defense. They can play in man coverage. They can play zone coverage. They can pressure you without blitzing, which is so big against these, you know, teams with great quarterbacks that they see down the line.
On 3rd and 6, McSorley with time throws off the back foot, incomplete to Hamilton. Covered by Joshua Kalu, and Kalu has been big in this game for Nebraska. Has made, I think it's 3 touchdown-saving tackles against Saquon Barkley, and now makes this play.
Yeah, this is just man coverage. Got a little right arm in there on Deshaun, but a great job with the left arm breaking that up. It's the same route that they ran earlier with a guy wide open. So Nebraska playing a step faster, which is good to see that these guys are still competing and haven't just cash it in.
And now Blake Gilligan to punt to DeMornay Pearson L. Pearson L. spins away from the first tackler. And Pearson L. late flag comes in. Another one comes in as he takes it out to the 35. Let's wait to see what these flags are for.
Illegal block in the back. Receiving team, number 57. 10-yard penalty. First down. Timeout.
That's against Jacob Weinmaster. Well, Nebraska just had a good offensive 2 national championships, and oh, by the way, 875 wins. Devino Zigbo in at tailback. On first down lead, pressured, escapes the pressure. Tanner Lee, as he gets out of bounds. A nice move by Tanner Lee, not known for his footwork.
Yeah, Brett Pry, the defensive coordinator, not happy about how that last drive worked. They're bringing Kabinda. They're bringing the house here. Tanner Lee does his best. Trace McSorley impression, steps up. Does a little shimmy on the second level, gets out of bounds.
Divino Zigbo is the player down for Nebraska. Well, Zigbo 7 carries for 12 yards and a touchdown on the night. The junior out of Texas had 3 straight 100-yard games against Rutgers, Illinois, and Wisconsin earlier this year. Let's take a look at the replay and see what happened with Jason Kabinda coming hard.
That's one of those things. He just is a late reaction coming off the play fake to block his responsibility there. Kabinda just got rolled up on it. Good to see him up on his own feet, under his own power to the sideline.
Our audio is so good you could hear the jackets, the rain jackets, the Nebraska training staff moving as they come off the field. Mikhail Wilbon will come in for him. Mikhail Wilbon had that touchdown run on the previous drive. Second out of 4 coming up.
Bunch of guys banged up all year long, both sides of the ball for Nebraska. It's already been a tough stretch for them. That just makes it worse.
Flag is thrown prior to the snap. False start.
False start. Offense, number 68. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
The left tackle, Nick Gates, who is now making his 24th consecutive start at left tackle.
Great player, highly recruited kid out of Las Vegas, Bishop Gorman High School powerhouse. Highly recruited guy. And nice hair.
Jealous?
Absolutely. Anybody with hair, I'm jealous of. That's just taunting, really, in my world.
That's a 15-yard penalty. Over the middle to Hoppus. Tackled by Jason Kabinda. And a 4-yard pickup, bringing up third down.
Really good timing by Tanner Lee. Brent Pry, the defensive coordinator for Penn State, has amped up the pressure here on this drive. Going back to his roots of bringing pressure. He's not happy with the touchdown, for sure. Kabinda is a sure tackler, though, and gets him on the ground. Setting up third medium.
Jason Kabinda entered this game the team's leading tackler at 74 tackles on the season. He had 11 last week. He's got 6 so far in this one. 3rd and 4.
Blitzing again.
Tanner Lee down the sideline has his man Stanley Morgan. And Morgan has got the first down and a whole lot more. Marked out of bounds. Let's see where they put him down. All the way back at the 20.
Here's the matchup. They bring the house. And that's our man Amani Oruwariye, who gives up the big play right there. They brought the house, dropped a couple D linemen out. You can see those guys dropping out right there. Tanner Lee throws it just in the nick of time. Great finish by the big guy, Stanley Morgan. Good to see him back out there. Big time player in Nebraska history as well. A record setter in Nebraska history.
That was a 50-yard pass to Stanley Morgan Jr. That's his 5th 100-yard receiving game of the season. That is most in the Big Ten Conference. Lee taking the shot to the end zone. Pearson L with a touchdown. There is a flag. Is this going to be offensive pass interference?
I thought he was getting held. I thought it looked like it was holding on Castro Fields.
Pass interference. Defense, number 5. Penalties decline. The score is good.
So DeMornay Pearson L with his 5th touchdown of the season. That's from 22 yards.
So there's the matchup right there, and it looks like Castro Fields, the blue, number 5, just right there, restricted him. Probably could have gone either way. Good finish by Pearson L. Couple great deep balls by Tanner Lee. That's something he's done a good job of. Great execution to get another positive positive result for the Huskers.
Drew Brown's extra point is good. Couple of big completions. One to Stanley Morgan and a touchdown pass to DeMornay Pearson L. Back-to-back drives resulting in touchdowns for the Cornhuskers. It's now 42-24.
Ho, ho, ho! This is the best Christmas ever.
And honey,
Just come out and they've shown pride and fight for this third quarter.
They're playing hard, you know, and to flip this over to Penn State, this is just, you know, you're in the locker room at halftime, you're talking about getting guys touches and catches and this, and you just blink for a second, and a prideful program, a prideful coach right there, Mike Riley. It's good to see these guys competing and having a positive result thus far.
Brandon Polk from a yard deep. And Polk gets out to the 21-yard line. UFC Fight Night comes up next on FS1. It's a heavyweight showdown as second-ranked Fabricio Verdum faces off with eighth-ranked Marcin Tybura. And a bout you won't want to miss. UFC Fight Night coming up next on FS1 or stream it live on Fox Sports Go.
Who do you have in that one?
The underdog.
It's the first time Nebraska's kicked deep there, too. They've been pooching so much. Their kickoff coverage has not been great, challenging Penn State that time to return it.
Miles Sanders is in at tailback. Go! Handoff is to Sanders. And Sanders takes it across the 25. Tackled by Muhammad Berry and Alex Davis. That's the fifth tackle of the game for Berry. Saquon Barkley, 158 rushing yards, 66 receiving yards. He's saying, hey, I'm ready to go back in. Come on.
No question. No question. He's a red-blooded competitor.
That helmet was going back on.
Yeah. Coach, that's my route.
Kept by McSorley up the middle. McSorley, he's got the first down up to the 36-yard line.
Same scheme that they ran earlier. They're reading the edge here. Trace McSorley is taking a look at this edge. He decides that him inside is better than Sanders outside. And there's a picture right there. We'd love again to see him right down the A-gap. He's going to run through there a little bit more cleanly.
A 10-yard run, 1st and 10. Coming up on a minute and 30 to go here in this third quarter. McSorley steps up, throws it near side to Tom Pancoast. And Pancoast with just his third catch of the season. That goes for 6 yards. Marcus Newby and Chris Webber combined for the tackle.
Those two tight ends have just been spectacular in Penn State's office. Mike Gesicki, obviously the best all time. Yards, catches, touchdowns. Tom Pancoast is back up, another fifth-year senior from Westchester, Pennsylvania. Is a great backup in the passing game.
Handoff to Sanders. And Sanders gets hit. A flag comes flying out. Muhammad Berry is the one who delivered the blow.
Looked like Steven Gonzalez ended up there with
offense, number 74. 10-yard penalty, second down.
He just started walking backward. Looked like he had a little two-point takedown, and he knew it and started walking back toward his end. '74 left guard right here. Trying to keep his hands inside, but definitely cheating on Carlos Davis. Makes it 2nd and 11.
It's still Miles Sanders in at tailback.
I'm sure James Frank would love to see Miles Sanders do some good things and keep Saquon on the sideline.
High throw. Is it a catch? It is. They're going to say it's a catch. Hauled in by Jawan Johnson. 16-yard completion. Let's take a look at this. Did he have control?
Does a great job running through Jackson's outside hip. Oh, boy. One-handed catch. Might have been bobbled. They're going to take a look here. Looked like he secured it with one hand, and it's just when he totally secures it and has the left foot inbounds. That's another great picture of the conditions here today. It's pouring.
The play is under review. As of right now, it goes for a catch, so it's 4 catches for 91 yards.
All 6'4" of him stretched out, puts his arm out. McSorley He's throwing it over that underneath coverage right there, fitting it in, and then he doesn't have it there. I think that's an incomplete pass. The ball moves right there. Both officials are in good position. They're just blocked out by the bodies of both defenders. Is there a shot where you can actually see the ball move though, Justin Kutcher?
You know, let's take a look right here. I'm in agreement with you as initially saying it's not a catch.
He controls it all the way at the end. It's just a matter of when he secures it. And this might be one of those ones where they can't, you think you know what happened, but there's no verifiable evidence. And it's pretty sick in general, so you should just give it to him, but they're talking about this for a long time.
Degree of difficulty.
Yeah, when in doubt, you just
9.8.
Yeah.
Let's bring in Mike Pereira right now. Mike, you've heard what Coach Helfrich just said. We're about to get the ruling here. What's your take?
Well, I think it's one of those as he's trying to bring the ball down against his stomach, below his belt, actually. You know, does he actually control the ball with that foot down?
Say it stands, Mike. Just say it stands.
And, yeah. And really the reason is that as the ball gets into his stomach there, he has the hand on it, pinned against him. It moves a little bit, but the foot is still down. So ruling on the field dictates, and I just don't think there was enough to overturn it.
Fair enough. Ruling does stand. Thanks, Mike. And with that, Saquon Barkley returns as the ball is at the 49-yard line now of Nebraska. And it's going to be a direct snap here to Barkley. He pitches it over to McSorley, and McSorley trying to throw, and it's going to be incomplete, intended for DeAndre Tompkins. Little trickeration.
Little trickeration. Yeah, Nebraska sniffed that one out, though. They Velcroed to DeAndre Tompkins. He was the double move there. They were trying to trigger on a little wheel route into the sideline, and good decision by Trace McSorley to pull it down.
2nd and 10 at the Nebraska 49.
Seven seconds to go here in this third quarter. McSorley over the middle to Johnson. And Juwan Johnson has the first down, and with that goes over 100 yards on the game. Lamar Jackson with the tackle, and that will bring us to the end of the third quarter. Juwan Johnson with that 14-yard completion now has 5 catches for 105 yards. Our first time here in Happy Valley. And Penn State, they're having some fun as they get set to take a break for 24. Penn State leading Nebraska. Juwan Johnson went over 100 yards on that last catch for the first time in his career. Miles Sanders back in at tailback.
Penn State checking from the sideline, Nebraska doing the same from theirs.
A handoff to Sanders. Escapes one tackle as he'll take it up to the 31-yard line.
Yeah, Josh Kalu just needs to make one more step, and that's another tackle for loss. Great job running out of his safety position. He, along with Marcus Newby on the stop, tracking down Miles Sanders, who's been very impressive in his, you said, maiden 100-yard game. Impressive.
Tommy Stevens in there as a tailback, as well as Miles Sanders. And there goes Stevens in motion. They pump fake to him. Now they're going to bring it over to him. The backup quarterback tight ropes the sideline, but they're going to say he was out of bounds. He's out of bounds at the 17-yard line. So discount the celebration, he's out of bounds.
They're fired up for that backup QB, set up a little double move off this bubble screen. You'll see him go in motion. There's a route out here that they're trying to set up. Trace McSorley glances it and then immediately gets it to his quarterback. It's wide open. You can see Deshaun Hamilton there in the end zone. Great finish by Tommy, but you stepped out, I think. Ooh. Is it that right foot right there?
Right
Almost
there.
the right. Oh, there, yeah, right there. Great finish downfield by the receivers. blocking for Tommy Stevens.
This kid's an athlete.
He is. You can see why they utilize him as a, right there was really as a decoy to throw deep, but because of the pressure, Trace McSorley did a great job finding him.
It's now 1st and 10 from the 17-yard line. McSorley to the end zone. Touchdown! Mike Gesicki, second touchdown of the game. 17 yards.
Great patience here by Trace McSorley. Another home run for him and Gesicki. A deadly combination. He had DeAndre Tompkins as well, wide open. Just too easy. Runs it, he's a lean, and then he'll come wide open on a little dig route, a little in route, post route really by a tight end. Great job. Kalu just a little late to the party, and a great spot in timing by McSorley.
The extra point by Tyler Davis. 49 points for Penn State. Their first score of the second half, and it comes here in the fourth quarter. 17-yard strike for the tight end Gesicki. Second touchdown of the game.
Look, there's no law that says your truck...
Second touchdown of the night for Mike Gesicki. Third career two-touchdown game for the senior tight end. Tyler Davis to kick off. Jalen Bradley and Mikhail Wilbon are back deep.
Good to see Gesicki's patting his offensive coordinator Joe Moorhead on the back, going, great call, coach. A couple more of those, I told you.
Oh, I thought you were going to say patting his stats. And this will go out of bounds. So Nebraska will get the ball at the 35-yard line.
Kickoff out of bounds. Kicking team. The ball be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
Next Saturday on Fox, it's one of the biggest rivalries in all of sports as number 9 Ohio State battles number 24 Michigan at the Big House. Coverage begins at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, only on Fox, or stream it live on Fox Sports Go. The updated Big Ten East standings. Ohio State has clinched the Big Ten East, so they will face Wisconsin in the Big Ten Championship.
Great matchup. And it is pouring now.
A handoff on the end around to Tyshawn Lindsey.
Tyshawn Lindsey, another kid from Vegas Gorman High School, electric. Another highly recruited guy, a young guy. Another one of those guys he wants to see grow up. You see Tanner Lee much better in the second half. He's perfect.
That all happened in the third quarter. 7 of 7 for 139 yards. A pump fake, and now he gets sacked. Flags come flying. Tyrell Chavis with the sack, but let's see what these flags are for.
Just too long against that pressure. They were trying to hold on for a double move. They had a max protection, and Penn State just hard working dudes up front, indicating a chop block there.
Personal foul, chop block, offense, number 68-33. Penalties decline, third down.
Nick Gates and Jalen Bradley combining for the chop block. That is declined.
So any low contact, well, double team, you'll see it here and here. This happens a lot with combination blocks with a back tackle trying to come help him. You can see the tackle comes off. Gates just has his left hand on the defender, and that is the correct call. That's a tough one for both those guys. Nothing dirty there at all. But Kabinda has been a menace, and they're trying to help each other out.
And you weren't kidding. The rain is coming down harder right now than it has all game long. And a timeout will be taken here by Nebraska with the play clock winding down. 3rd and 15 is coming up. 49-24, Penn State leading here in the Busters. Rain is falling hard here at Beaver Stadium. It's the kind of weather that you would think if you were in LA, you might get a Manny and a Petty. Wonder what Petros is doing.
Who would possibly do that?
3rd and 15. They try running a screenplay, and it's incomplete for Stanley Morgan.
Koa Farmer almost got the benefit of a little tip ball. Again, Christian Campbell, number one, they're being unbelievably physical on the perimeter, has done a great job. Almost you think of a screen as a safe call. That was almost a pick six right into the lap of Koa Farmer.
Caleb Lightbourne to punt. DeAndre Tompkins back around the 28-yard line.
See if Penn State comes after this one. They've been a fingernail away from a couple block punts.
A fingernail. Again! It takes Nebraska roll down to the 24-yard line.
That's Christian Campbell again.
A 46-yard line. If he had a pedicure or a manicure, maybe he gets it.
Oh, sell out there. Put your hand, put your face on it.
Fallen heroes while on active duty since 9/11. By bringing children together from all over the world, Snowball Express provides an annual life-changing event to make each child feel special as we remember the lives of their parents. We remember. Visit foxsportsupports.com to learn how.
Such an awesome cause right there.
Trace McSorley's night is done. Tommy Stevens is now in at quarterback. And this may come as a shock. He's going to run it. He gets hit, draws the flag, the late hit by Lamar Jackson.
Good job by the Penn State coaches stepping in the middle of that. There's a frustrated group of guys in white helmets right now. It's been a frustrating season.
Out of bounds, defense, number 21, 15-yard penalty.
Trace McSorley, his 9th career 300-yard game. I know this might come as a shock, but that ties another record.
Well, it's because it ties. It didn't break it. Christian Hackenberg, another great quarterback that he's seen a bunch of his milestones fall by the wayside with this crew, and it's just been really impressive by Trace McSorley, just utilizing everybody. He's worked the tight ends, the receivers, obviously both backs, led by Saquon Barkley, and a tip of the cap again to Joe Moorhead and the offensive staff for putting it all together.
Miles Sanders in the backfield. Another design quarterback run up the middle. Tommy Stevens gets 6. Khalil Davis with a tackle.
Yeah, the draw fake did affect some guys there. I'd be surprised if they let it fly too many times. They might do a little run pass action in some of their base routes to get Tommy Stevens playing within their system. But they want to grind this thing out, get out of here.
9 of 17 on the season for 126 yards in the air for Tommy Stevens. Stevens to pass. Overthrows Brandon Polk. How hard is it to throw in these type of conditions?
It depends. These guys do such a great job now keeping the balls dry. In the old days, you recycle through the whole thing. It's actually better on a natural grass surface. On turf, you can't ever get dry. You know, you fall on the ground and everything is wet. Your towels are wet. Your muffs are wet. You can see right there it's not dry, but they do such a great job with the ball now. If you're going no huddle, it can be tough because they don't dry the ball.
3rd and 4 again. Stevens patiently. Stevens gets to the outside. And Tommy Stevens run out of bounds by Aaron Williams. But not before Stevens picks up 20 yards.
Good job bouncing it, getting pressing it initially, then bouncing it out where Nebraska has had a tough time of keeping them contained. Sometimes it's Saquon Barkley. Right now it's Tommy Stevens doing his thing.
I know this may sound like a crazy question, but is Tommy Stevens a guy that you keep at the quarterback position in the future?
Well, I mean, certainly Trace McSorley, I think he's going to beat him out, but that's a guy I think they've done a great job of just building packages for him and keeping him, involved. He's a redshirt sophomore, so he's, again, he's going to be behind McSorley next year, you'd think.
Sanders, he's got a first down. Takes it down to the 15-yard line.
And Sanders, a sophomore, also excited about his opportunities with Saquon Barkley. See, he does a great job here of keeping his shoulders square, pressing the line of scrimmage, and then finding it and pressing it back. You reset the line of scrimmage. The Nebraska defender commits to one alley, and you press it back inside. Very impressive run by Miles Sanders.
Rushing yards, advantage Penn State. Little lob pass, touchdown, Nick Bowers, 15 yards. Second touchdown pass of the season for Tommy Stevens.
Yeah, that's two sophomores connecting on senior day. A little play action pass. Nebraska obviously sold out to stop the run. Watch him right here. He's going to shuffle his way out and be clean. Base zone read look, and then you bluff it. Nice throw and catch and execution by Penn State.
The extra point for Davis is good. Penn State has put up 56 points. The first catch of the season is a touchdown for Nick Bowers. 56-24, Saquon Barkley loving it along the sidelines. He's in the most since 1943.
Yeah, Bob Diaco's defense is brought in to replace Mark Banker, and certainly having some growing pains in his first year.
Tyler Davis to kick to Jalen Bradley. And this will go in and out of the end zone. Well, Nebraska, Tom Osborne, the legend. Frank Solich took over for him.
Still winning at Ohio right now, Coach Solich.
Then it was Bill Callahan replacing Frank Solich, and that did not work out very well. Bo Pelini came in, did well, 9+ wins in all 7 seasons. And in comes Mike Riley. And we talked about it in the open. What's next?
Yeah, it's been a tough year here for Coach Riley. Again, when you really look at it, it's the first year that they've had kind of a new quarterback that obviously they rip off a nice run there on first down. You know, still recruiting to their system. Got a ton of guys that are young. We talked about Tyjon Lindsey, some of the guys on defense that they've recruited. They have a great recruiting class that's committed. Hopefully he'll get a chance to see it through.
He said he had a conversation with Bill Moose. He talked about his plan. Bill Moose heard him out. Nebraska fans, they're pining for Scott Frost. You mentioned that name earlier, and it's no secret. Everyone pretty much assumes that Scott Frost is going to be the guy to come here to Nebraska. I think you and I are both in agreement that whoever the guy is, if it's Scott Frost, if it's Mike Riley, if it's somebody else, you got to give them a chance. It can't just be 2 or 3 years. You got to give them 5, 6, 7 years to let them build something.
No question. Give you a couple names here. Brian Kelly, Mark D'Antonio, Jimbo Fisher. Right? Is Jimbo Fisher an idiot this year? I don't think so.
No.
The guy can coach. Top 5 recruiting classes always. Mike Riley is an excellent football coach. People talk about culture and fit and all that stuff, and that absolutely matters. And this, I don't know, this might be his last season. Scott Frost is it's weird. I'm in a weird position here. He's a great friend of mine and he's a fantastic coach. Then let's just flip it over and look at Mark D'Antonio. Mark D'Antonio, a bunch of doubts last year. His first 3 years at Michigan State, 22-17. His next 6 years, 65-16, 3 Big Ten titles and the college football playoff. Last year, 4-8. This year, got it back rolling. Does that happen? I don't know, but there's a ton of examples around there of just giving up on guys too early. And this might be one of them. But yes, whoever's new has to have a chance to get his guys.
On 3rd and 1, it's Jalen Bradley, and Bradley's got the first down. You know, and let's, you mentioned Michigan State. what D'Antonio has done at Michigan State, he's built a sustainable program.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Mike Riley is, you know, when you have a veteran quarterback, he's going to be successful. Right now, they don't have a veteran quarterback. Tanner Lee is a senior, right? But he's not a veteran in their system. He's a junior, I guess, but whatever year he is. First year in their system. But it's a tough situation. The easiest thing in the world is to blame the head coach. The guy makes the most money, but all these assistants, you think about the video guys, the equipment guys, their families. There's a lot of lives that are involved in these deals, and everybody knows that going in.
Tanner Lee throws to Morgan, and Morgan makes the catch, and there's a flag. And we could be targeting. Troy Apke might be the guilty party.
I think that's, I hope that is not the case, and this is a tough deal of having your guys. That's your senior, your starter, that's in here this late. And you put this kind of thing at risk.
Personal foul. Targeting, defense, number 28, plays under further review.
Watch 28, it's a defenseless player for sure, a receiver in this position. We'll see what happens. That looks like a, let's see from this end, it looked like a textbook head. Yep, helmet to helmet, crown of the helmet, that's both. Defenseless, crown of the helmet. Got to keep your eyes up and to the side, and that's not a problem. I know Stanley Morgan is lowering his head, but he is defenseless. It's tough. That guy's a good football player. Four seniors. And he'll be out for the rest of this one and the first half next week if this stands, which I think it will.
And next week they take on Maryland. Apke, 6'1", 200-pound senior from Mount Lebanon, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, you could see Apke as soon as the play was over, he started jogging to the sideline. He knew it. He's a veteran guy. That's one of those, once again, it's not malicious. He's not trying to hurt the kid, but he knew it.
Not the way he wanted his senior night to end. Being ejected here in this game.
After review, the ruling of targeting is confirmed. Number 28 is disqualified for the remainder of the contest. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
I thought for a second Ron Snodgrass might say, "Don't boo." It's the rule.
And that's kind of how it feels, right? The crowd, you know, standing up for their guy, senior, great player in this program, a leader in the secondary, along with Marcus Allen, Grant Haley, Christian Campbell. That is a veteran, excellent secondary that this Penn State defense has.
It'll be 1st and 10. It'll be 1st and goal from the 10. Mikhail Wilbon.
Zero coverage by Penn State. Man, no help.
Pressure coming. Handoff to Wilbon. Wilbon up to the 7.
Coach Brent Pry defensively, he does not want to give up 7 more points, and he brought the house that time on Wilbon. He almost scooted through there. You can see Coach Pry, again, a very prideful guy. No defensive coordinator likes this situation where it's kind of, you know, let's get out of here healthy. You want to keep those points off the board.
There are other people who also don't want 7 points to score.
Does it involve a desert? Showing the same look.
To the end zone. There's a flag thrown, and they're going to say touchdown. Caught by Stanley Morgan.
I think it's Zach McPherson again. Earlier involved on the action.
It would be an 8-yard touchdown pass to number 8.
Defense, number 14. Penalties decline. Scores good.
McPherson is trying to stop Stanley Morgan. You can see him right there, a big physical dude. And McPherson's just trying to just do everything he can there. Left hand involved holding. Great finish. Good spot by Tanner Lee. A little one-handed catch, I think, by Stanley Morgan Jr. Looked like you back in the day.
Drew Brown. The extra point is good. 56-31 with 6:32 to go. Stanley Morgan, 6 catches, 144 yards, and now 1 touchdown. here in Happy Valley.
Yeah, and that's credit to those guys. We talked about it at halftime. Talked about it in pregame. It's not a pretty situation right there, but great to see Morgan Jr. compete. He's describing his one-handed catch to his receiver coach there, Keith Williams.
Drew Brown, they try for an onside. They'll kick it away. Polk in the end zone. They'll take it out of the end zone. And Polk gets tackled by the kicker, Drew Brown.
Nice job by Drew Brown. That's why Nebraska was pooching so much earlier.
It's a 34-yard return, tackled by number 34. Time for a game break. Let's go back to LA and check in with Greg Wolf.
All right, Justin, thanks. Number 13, Oklahoma State was down 42-13, third quarter to K-State late. Fourth, trying to come all the way back on 4th and 10. Mason Rudolph, nation's leading passer, overthrows his target. Cowboys comeback, falls short. K-State, the upset, 45-40. Justin, Mark, back to you.
Wow. Holy cow.
Grandpa Bill getting it done.
Wow. Always such a tough matchup is Kansas State. Pulling off the upset here today. Tommy Stevens keeping it on the ground. Flag is thrown.
There is no foul in the play. The action was determined to be legal. Second down.
Well, for those of you tuning in for the UFC pre-fight show, that show is available on FS2 as well as streaming live on Fox Sports Go. We'll get you there at the immediate conclusion of our game. Our game right now is 56-31. Penn State leading Nebraska. Justin Kutcher alongside Mark Helfrich here in Happy Valley. Pass out to Miles Sanders. Sanders up to the 40-yard line, tackled by Chris Webber.
That's the play that's been so effective with Saquon Barkley, is get 4 offensive players to the same side. 4 strong is what that's called in football terms. Saquon Barkley converted a bunch of 3rd and longs, getting an athlete in space. That's very tough to defend in a zone coverage.
3rd and 4 coming up here for the Nittany Lions, trying to go to 9-2 on the season. 6-2 in Big Ten play. Kept by Stevens. And Stevens will come up short of the first down marker.
Yeah, they ran this earlier with McSorley. He's reading the edge, and this is what he'd like to have back and hand this to Miles Sanders and let him outrun. In that case, that's Akin Moladun, the big defensive end, and Sanders had a long way to run.
Blake Gilligan to punt to DeMornay Pearson-L.
Pass girl on the punt. Frenchie Gilligan on the punt.
What a punt. Wow. That's a punt.
Natural grass. Punters love that right there. Not getting that bounce on turf.
56-yard punt down at the 3. That was beautiful.
After the initial mouthpiece toss, he's been nails.
That's a Jordan Spieth wet shot.
Great decision by Pearson-L.
He was asking his caddy, what's the distance?
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Man, he was reading. Look at him. He was like reading the punt right there. Easy. Punter. Just punt it. Gotta go love up your guy.
All right, so Nebraska takes over at their own 3.
The crowd that's remaining coming alive.
Tanner Lee taking the shot up high. Morgan comes down with it.
Pass to the link to number 8, Stanley Morgan.
Stanley Morgan Jr. again.
Great job taking a shot here out of the end zone. You'll see him again lean Castro Fields and run that skinny post, and now go get it, big man. Nice job. This is what we talked about. If Nebraska was going to have a chance, they needed to obviously do a lot more of this earlier, but take those shots to their big wideouts and give them a chance.
41-yard completion, 185 yards on the night. Now for Stanley Morgan. Lee over the middle, completes to his tight end, Hoppus. And Hoppus has a first down.
Penn State now made a wholesale substitution. Good job getting all their backups in.
And Hoppus hobbles off the field. Hoppus 5 catches for 27 yards on the game. That's actually 6 catches for 43 yards. Pump fake, Lee, and Lee gets sacked. Robert Windsor.
Great effort by Windsor. You can see his shoulder pad. He's held a little bit. Great effort. You'll see him. He's there working all around. Almost held, but gets to Tanner Lee. Great effort. Great stunt and line game by defensive coordinator Brett Pry. Fond du Lac, Wisconsin.
Second and 15. Lee to Pearsonell. Pearsonell slips a tackle and spins right into another one.
Same route they ran earlier. Good recognition by Pearsonell and Tanner Lee. They just stopped on that option route. It's another thing in this Mike Riley system. There's a lot of decision making on both ends by the quarterback and the receivers. A lot of option routes in the system. That's something that also takes time.
Tanner Lee over 300 yards on the game.
Wouldn't be shocked of a run here. Conservative play, definitely 4-down territory.
Lee, he's going to try to run for it. And Tanner Lee gets run out of bounds by Brandon Smith. So 4th down coming up. Obviously have to go for it.
Yeah, Brandon Smith, another graduate senior. His last game here at Beaver Stadium, finishing strong.
It's 4th and 2. The students still here, haven't gone home for break, making some noise.
It's going to be man-free. Penn State showing pressure right up the gut.
Tanner Lee taking the shots. Has his man. Caught by Spielman, and Spielman is down at the 1. A 31-yard completion on 4th and 2.
Great recognition. This is on Lamont Wade. We got man coverage, and he just runs. We call this a big box fade. He's got a big area to throw it to up top against man coverage. Great spot by Tanner Lee. See the spot. Doesn't ever go out of bounds. Let's see where he's down.
That was dropped perfectly by Tanner Lee to J.D. Spielman. So it's 1st and goal from the 1. Wilbon in at tailback. You got Bo Wilson in as an extra blocker. And getting in. Where's the call? Touchdown. Mikhail Wilbon.
Same play they scored on earlier. Bring the big guy in motion. He sets it outside this time. McNitt adjusts inside, and that's a lot of Mikhail Wilbon's second effort, third effort to get into the end zone. You see him spill off the first tackle, second tackle, third tackle. Great job by Wilbon.
Drew Brown. Extra point is good. 56-38. Nebraska has scored 28 points here in the second half, but they trail 50 on the Fox Box. Brian Heath, our graphics operator, our camera crew, Bill Anderson, Chris Gumby, and John Sapchinski. Video department, Al Bogert. and Mike Vaughn, our technical director, Michael Lang, and leading our technical team, Mark Alsmeyer. Our statistician up here in the booth, Alan Prifley, our spotter, Ken Trevor. And now, Nebraska is going to line up for that onside kick.
Yeah, James Franklin eyeballing it from the sideline. And he took a timeout to make sure his guys are aware of it.
While we have time here, let's go back to LA where it's nice, warm, sunny. Check in with Greg Wolf.
Yes, it is. Thanks, Justin. Pre-game already underway on Fox for the big game up in Northern California. Nation's leading rusher, Bryce Love, at number 22, Stanford, gets set to host Cal. Stanford still alive in the Pac-12 North race. Kickoff on Fox happens at 8:15 Eastern. Stanford trying to win an 8th straight in one of the great rivalries in college football. Justin, Mark, back to you.
Greg, thank you.
We've kind of seen redeem games by both Bryce Love and Saquon Barkley. Bryce Love is unbelievably impressive with far fewer weapons around him. I think David Shaw and the Stanford offense have done a magical job of game planning for that guy, and he is a tough, tough dude.
Drew Brown. The onside kick. And it looks like Nebraska has recovered it.
Yep.
DeMornay Pearsonell. The only Penn State player there looked like it was Juwan Johnson.
Yeah, it gets a nice hop, and Pearsonell just slips in there. Watch this right here. This hop slips between these two defenders, and they're worried about it going 10 yards. Again, as the receivers, you need to attack that ball. It doesn't have to go 10 yards if you're Penn State. It has to go 10 yards if you're Nebraska. Juwan Johnson there just waiting on it one step too long. He needs to utilize his 6'4" and go up and get that thing. Again, good to see Nebraska competing here. Been a much different second half. Certainly offensively, not only points on the board, 335 yards in the second half versus 77 in the first.
And I get that it was a blowout, but this is against the 4th-ranked defense in the nation.
Yeah, it wasn't until that last drive when they took him out.
Tanner Lee throws to Pearsonell, spins away from a defender, makes a nice move, and takes it up to the 40-yard line.
And you can see some of these guys, Pearsonell, Spielman, obviously Stanley Morgan Jr. This is why some of the Nebraska faithful have been so frustrated, is they've got some guys on the perimeter. They're just getting things solved in the middle of the field, which is vital.
The dump off to Wilbon.
Basketball to Wilbon. Run down by.
It'll be interesting how Penn State finishes the year. They're going to end up in some great bowl game, and you know, obviously with the Big Ten championship set, you never want to say a 10-2 season is any kind of a bad thing, other than the fact that means you're back as a program.
Spielman makes the catch for the first down. It'll stop the clock with 35 seconds to go. And that's saying something to get this Penn State program back to where it once was.
It really is. And again, you talk about the college football world. James Franklin was on the hot seat, you know, allegedly. When? At the beginning of last year.
Patience, people. Patience. High throw. Spielman brings it down and has another first down. Down at the 2.
Great catch by Spielman. We talked about it early on. This guy just does a great job slipping the jam right there. Not much of a jam, really, but good job going. That's hard to extend yourself when you know two guys are looking to knock you.
Tanner Lee was looking for Spielman again, covered by Lamont Wade.
Great job by Wade hopping over that. They tried to get a little rub. If you're a defensive coach or a defensive person, that's a pick. But Nebraska trying to get a little rub route. Well defended by Penn State.
J.D. Spielman injured that shoulder earlier in the game. Coming off the field right now. He's got 96 yards on the night. 6 seconds to go. This could be the final play of the game.
You're using your best shot right here for Nebraska. This is going to be one of their 2-point plays that they had set up coming into this game. Last shot at the end zone.
Lee throws low. They'll have one more shot. That wouldn't have made it to the end zone.
And this will be your second best 2-point play right here. It's really how you do it. You know, in this situation, the ball's on the right hash. A lot of times you'll see offensive with right-handed quarterbacks are set up in the left middle or left hash, so this will be a little bit different probably for their calls. But you got this all scripted coming into it. Wilbon just gave him some eyes like, remember, I'm in this.
Lee to the end zone, touchdown. Tyler, excuse me, that was actually Jack Stoll. Jack Stoll makes the catch as time expires. Go Big Red, they're still here. Waiting till the end.
Yeah, definitely a friends and family celebration by Nebraska, but great job by them to compete to the end. And that'll give Brett Pry, James Franklin something to yell at their guys about, certainly leading into next week.
And they will come out for the handshakes. That'll do it, 56-44. It was a much bigger win for Penn State than the score might indicate.
Yeah, big record-setting night for James Franklin. A bunch of guys seeing 23 seniors and a great junior who's not going to play another game at Beaver Stadium and Saquon Barkley. A great redeem game for him and his chances in New York.